to you all from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. Along with Rich King, I'm Russ Langer. That's Camelback Ranch. We've got some clouds and some breeze and a little cooler than usual here. It's in the 60s right now. I know back in Chicago you're saying boo-hoo to that, but the fact of the matter is, as we see some fans coming in now, the White Sox are host today to the San Diego Padres, and the White Sox scores 5-3-1. San Diego is 7-1. And Rich, when you look at these two teams, these two organizations, you're talking about two of the organizations that have some of the finest talent anywhere in baseball.
And they have hard throwers. We saw that last year in the games here in Arizona. San Diego, a bunch of good prospects. White Sox are loaded with prospects. And the White Sox are loaded, though, in the front line, too, with first-line guys. Padres still battling to get in the race there, that tough division they're in. But a buzz in the air here, Russ, because Dallas Keuchel makes his first start in the A games here, the spring games, the Cactus League. Of course, the big off-season acquisition by the White Sox. Had a chance to talk to Dallas about coming to Chicago and how he's going to make the adjustment to living there in the Windy City.
No, I have liked Chicago as a visiting city for quite a while. I think it's an overall like a cleaner Manhattan, and that's one of the draws of what I like. But I think the most interesting part will be how I transition from liking it as visiting 3 or 4 days to having a home base there.
It's a great city. It's a great city.
81 home games. So I'm looking forward to it. But change of scenery in ballpark venues is more fun than it is a stressful issue. So I don't have any problem with the cold. I grew up in Oklahoma, so we had all 4 seasons. And at the same time, I know hitters don't really like the cold, so that already gives me an advantage.
Okay, there's Dallas Keuchel. A cleaner Manhattan is Chicago. He was, against the White Sox, Russ. Looked at his overall career stats. White Sox hitters hit .320 career against him, so he's glad to be on the White Sox team as he gets set to take the mound today.
That's got to be a big selling point to get him to Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, the Sox take the field, and we take a look now at the White Sox starting lineup for today. And for the Sox, leading off at third base, Yoan Moncada. Batting second, the shortstop, Tim Anderson. Hitting third is first baseman Jose Abreu. The cleanup man, the designated hitter, Nicky Delmonico. In the fifth slot, left fielder Eloy Jimenez. There are the Sox on the field. In the sixth position, the talented young center fielder Luis Robert. In the seventh spot, catcher James McCann. Dan Palka bats eighth and plays right field. Hitting ninth is switch hitting second baseman Larry Garcia. And on the mound, Dallas Keuchel. And again, Rich caught up with him. You heard his comments about Chicago being a cleaner Manhattan. But the thing about Manhattan, just try to find good deep dish.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. We got one more bite here of Keuchel talking about, last year he was 8-8 with Atlanta. He played half the season, as you know, Russ. He sat it out, held out free agency and signed with the White Sox. And talked about how difficult it was to miss spring training and the effect this year. Here again is Dallas.
It was more difficult. I mean, as much as I was physically ready, the mental part is what's the most challenging, because although you're having fun pitching to the guys, and I was pitching to some junior colleges, some D1 guys, it's just not the same as pitching to some big league guys, and just having that big league feel and the stress of just kind of every pitch. I mean, it just kind of makes your blood flow to a point of you just get excited. And so it was challenging, but at the same time, I'm going to look back at hopefully at this point, maybe 10 years from now, when I'm still pitching and say, hey, that was good for the Players Association, that was good for the players, and it was good for me, because ultimately I can draw from that, and hopefully someday I can tell my grandkids that I took half a year off and still did all right.
The comments of Dallas Keuchel. There's Dallas right there with that signature beard of his. And the switch-hitting left fielder Abraham Almonte leads off for San Diego. And the first pitch is a strike, and we're underway here at Camelback Ranch. 0-1. Almonte leading off in left. And there is Abraham. Batting second as we run down the Padre lineup, left fielder Greg Garcia. In the third spot is the designated hitter today, the former Twin and former Dodger Brian Dozier. In the cleanup spot, right fielder Franchi Cordero. Batting fifth and catching Luis Torrens. Here's the next one on the way, and Almonte sends that one to left field, and Jimenez giving ground on this ball. Got to watch it. It bounces and goes up on the berm. So there's a 2-base hit right off the bat for Almonte. Ground rule double to left, and the batter will be Greg Garcia. This will give us a chance to run down the lineup for you. Padres have their center fielder batting in the 6th spot, Juan Lagares. There's that double going over the head of Eloy, hitting on the warning track and hopping over. Batting 7th is the first baseman, Seth Mejias Breen for San Diego. In the 8th spot, second baseman Esteban Quiros. And hitting 9th at shortstop, Gabriel Arias. There is Greg Garcia, left-hander hitting third baseman for San Diego, with those knees bent, open stance. And Keuchel working with James McCann. And as Rich pointed out, the first Cactus League start and appearance for Dallas Keuchel. So therefore his first ever appearance in a White Sox uniform. Lefty on lefty. Third baseman Moncada comes in tight near the edge of the grass, and there's his strike. And it's 0-1. The umpires today, Mark Ripperger starts off behind the plate as the sun breaks through here now. At first base is Tony Randazzo. Todd Titchener at second, Quinn Wolcott at third, but again, they will rotate pretty much the way they want to throughout this one. Strike one on Garcia. Little squibber, and then Anderson ranging far to his left makes the play. It goes 6-3, and on the play, Almonte scoots over to third, and there's one out.
The one thing that Dallas Keuchel also said in the interview we did is that he told Rick Hahn when he signed that Dallas had made the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years, and he said, I want to do it one more time here this year. And he is certainly in a good spot, Russ, to do it with this ball club behind him.
White Sox will pull the infield in. We'll get a shot at that infield as there's Brian Dozier trying to bribe the run in right now. There the Sox pulled in. Abreu and Garcia on the right side. Anderson and Moncada manning the left side. Dozier takes ball 1. Dallas Keuchel knows his way around the diamond as we see Dozier right there, second baseman DHing today. Keuchel has won the Gold Glove 4 times. Of course, he did win the Cy Young Award on one occasion. Went to the University of Arkansas. Good changeup. That's his signature pitch right there to even up the count. And he was in the All-Star game, in fact, the starting pitcher for the American League in 2015, won the Cy Young Award that year. And a fellow who has been an All-Star twice, World Series champion in 2017 with Houston, and he had those kind of interesting comments to make about the whole scandal that you might have heard about.
Very remorseful, yeah.
That's a base hit for Dozier, pulling it left of second base. In comes Almonte as Luis Robert lobs it back in. It's quickly 1-0 San Diego in the top of the first.
Keuchel against the White Sox, I mentioned earlier, the 5 games at the south side of Chicago, Guaranteed Rate Field, formerly another name, U.S. Cellular. White Sox hitters hit .320 off them in those games. Overall, though, Russ, 5-4, 3.45. But once again, don't worry about that stat because he's now a member of the Chicago White Sox.
There's a left-handed hitting right fielder, Franchi Cordero, who is a cleanup man in this particular game. And the first baseman, Jose Abreu, holding on Brian Dozier over there. And there's a swing and a miss. He went with a fastball right away. Strike one. 0-1.
He's had a big impact also on some of the young guys here. Talked to a few of the younger players, Bernardo Flores among them, who's already gotten advice, good advice, from the veteran Dallas Keuchel.
That's part of why they got him.
Yep.
Pitch inside 1-1. He was born New Year's Day, 1988 was Dallas Keuchel. There he is. In Tulsa. Broke into the big leagues about midway through the 2012 season. Was with the Astros all the way through 2018. Atlanta last year, and now the Sox. Good breaking ball. 1-2 on Cordero.
Flores told me that he pulled him aside after a bullpen session, and Keuchel said, slow it down, you're pushing it too fast. And Flores said it was valuable advice that he used the next time he threw.
1-2. That one just missed, and it's 2-2 now. Keuchel had some good breeding in college for the Arkansas Razorbacks. 2009, he went to the College World Series in Omaha. And the Astros drafted him. Pitch fouled off. 2-2 still. Worked his way up the system. Got there, as I said, in 2012. And has had a lot of success in the big league since. He put everybody on notice early that year that he won the Cy Young Award. He was 3-0 in April with an ERA under 1 and just kept going from there.
You know, when you look at his record last year, the late start, 8-8, 3.75, that's not too bad. Craig Kimbrell with the Cubs struggled when he came back late. In fact, had arm trouble and all kinds of stuff going on with him. But Keuchel put up some decent numbers in half a season there with Atlanta.
Yeah, and just going back to that year you won the Cy Young, he became, this is a little trivia tidbit, as we'll wait on the 3-2 now to Cordero. Keuchel delivers this one, and that's a slow ground ball. Right there, Garcia, they get one, and that's it. Nice play by Garcia, but then Tim Anderson showing his very well-known athleticism by grabbing that flip and keeping his foot on the bag, and there are 2 outs on that fielder's choice. Here it is again.
Yeah, that was a tough play because the ball was not hit well. The flip was kind of up in the air a little bit. Tim did a great job staying on that bag.
Anyway, for those of you into trivia, in 2015, Keuchel finished that season with a 15-0 record at home,
right,
becoming the first pitcher in Major League history to finish with an undefeated record at home with at least 14 wins. Here's Luis Torrens, and he fouls on off strike one. Overall, he was 20-8 for the year.
He struck out 216 guys in that season, Russ. Great years. Gold glove. In fact, he has 4 gold gloves. So he does it all out there. Wonder if he can hit.
He threw just under 3,500 pitches that year, more than any other big league pitcher in 2015. And began the wild card game in just 3 days rest. Beat Kansas City. Here's the pitch. That's to the hold at short, plugged up by Anderson. He goes to Garcia, and that's it. A 6-4 force out. San Diego done in the first. They scratch for a run on 2 hits, no errors. They leave 1 at the end of half an inning in Glendale. Padres 1 in the Sox against Chris Paddock coming up.
It's opening day at Guaranteed Rate Field on Thursday, March 26th, as the White Sox take on Kansas City at 1 o'clock, 1:10 actually. The first 20,000 fans will receive a long sleeve t-shirt presented by BMO. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today. So the Padres take the field here. Padres scratched out, as Russ mentioned, a 1 run at the top of the inning. And here again to call the action for you is Russ Langer.
Thank you, Rich King. So now to the bottom of the first. There's a way to have fun in March. Can you believe it's March?
Wow, yeah, already. Once these games start down there, time flies.
It really does. All right, there's Chris Paddock, who is 24 years old. And during the 2019 season with San Diego, he earned the nickname Paddock Attack for his first pitch strike-heavy approach and the way he pounds the zone with his fastball and changeup combination. His fastball will hit all 4 quadrants of the zone. He's got good command, and his changeup is outstanding. And he's just now trying to work a breaking ball, a curveball into the mix to become a 3-pitch guy. Here's Yoan Moncada, and he shows bunt, takes it up and away, ball 1. Third baseman Greg Garcia coming in. They got a shift on for him in the infield. There you see it. Seth Mejias Breen at first, Esteban Quiroz at second. Gabriel Arias, the shortstop, all to the right of second. Again, showing bunt is Moncada. There's a strike. Greg Garcia is at third. So 1-1 on Yoan Moncada. Paddock was born in Austin. Pitch fouled away. 1-1. Last year, 9-7, a 3.33 ERA, over 150 strikeouts. So he's a guy that the Padres are counting on heavily. And there's been no announcement yet, but he might be the opening day starter. There's been already a buzz about that. The 1-2, that's in the air to center. And Lagares, the former Met, turns and will grab that one. Yoan gives it a healthy ride, but he's out. 1 down, and the batter, Tim Anderson.
I know, Russ, I was reading about him. They were very careful last year with him limiting his pitches in spring training and being very careful. Once he got going, though, he almost pitched a no-hitter. In fact, into the 8th against Miami when Starlin Castro broke it up on July 17th. The Padres have never had in their existence a no-hitter.
Older fans will remember that Clay Kirby had one, and Preston Gomez, this is going back. There's a strike on it to when they were an expansion team, and Preston Gomez decided to pinch hit, and there's a whole stew over that. But yeah, never no-hitter.
I know.
Tim Anderson. 1-0 Padres, bottom of the first. Timmy making a fair amount of good contact this spring. Pitch fouled away.
He told me this morning about 110%. He had the flu, sat out a few days. In fact, stayed home a couple of days just wisely to rest up, and shook hands this morning and said, I'm 110%.
Good to hear. Jose Abreu on deck. Chris Paddock starting for San Diego at Cedar Park, Texas. Pitch fouled away. 0-2 still to Tim Anderson. He was going to play collegiately for the Texas A&M team, but then the Marlins drafted him in the 8th round of 2015, and then they traded him the end of June in 2016 for Fernando Rodney to San Diego, and then he had Tommy John surgery and missed the rest of the 2016 season with that and all of 2017. And Anderson tied up on that one, and he's out on strikes. First strikeout for Paddock, 2 outs, and the batter Jose Abreu.
And there was good news this morning too. We had a chance to talk to Gio Gonzalez, who has been slowed by a shoulder injury here in camp. Nothing serious, but he's getting back in action through the bullpen. Told us that his curveball is there. Everything else is breaking pretty well. Now he just has to build up the velocity on the fastball, and he'll be okay. He's nearing appearances in these games.
Jose takes a big rip and fouls that one off. Strike one, 93 on the board on that pitch. 1 strike on Jose Abreu. Nicky Delmonico waiting in the on-deck area. Sox winning 5, losing 3, tying 1, facing San Diego. Off to a great start, winning 7 out of 8. Sox have come from behind in 4 of their 5 wins this spring. And they're behind early here. Here's the strike one, and that's on the inside corner, 0-2.
Came back yesterday. We made the trip to Diablo Stadium in Tempe. They played the Angels. Angels off to a 3-0 lead. Sox got 8 runs in the 4th inning in that ball game. Just blistered Neil Ramirez, the ex-Cub.
8 straight men reach base. That one's hooked foul to the left, out of play. 2 strikes on Abreu. 3 consecutive doubles. Hermine Mercedes, Nick Delmonico, and Chesler Cuthbert.
You know, Russ Mercedes is really opening some eyebrows here. His bat is really quick, and he gets up. That ball jumps off it.
0-2. Tall, lean righty. Paddock delivers that one, and that's ball 1. 1-2 now.
Sox sent 12 men to bat in that 4th inning, and Neil Ramirez, his line is not the kind of line you want to have in spring. 1/3, 5 hits, 8 runs, 3 walks. Ouch.
Bernardo Flores, a couple of innings. Nice diving stop by Greg Garcia, but his throw pulls Seth Mejias-Breen off the bag. And so Abreu safe at first. Garcia, great diving effort to stop it. The throw off target, and the inning is extended for Nick Delmonico. Here it is.
It's got to be a base hit. He made a great effort to get the ball, even the tough throw, high and wide, and Jose's in there. Sox on the board with their first hit.
They give Abreu an infield hit, and Nicky Delmonico stepping up now. Delmonico hitting .417 this spring, 5 out of 12, 3 doubles, 3 walks. Ball 1. Also scheduled to throw today for the Sox, Aaron Bummer, Steve Cishek, Jimmy Cordero, Kelvin Herrera, Alex Colomé, and Zach Birdie. After Dallas Keuchel, Chris Paddock's 1-0. There's that changeup. 1-1, but the bottom just fell out of that thing.
Mentioned yesterday's victory. They lost. The Sox lost the day before in surprise against Texas, 7-6. But they came back in that one and had the lead for a while so late. So it's been a season of comebacks to the White Sox so far. Good game out there for a lot of guys, and surprise for the White Sox.
1-1.
Brian Mitchell came in, gave up a home run on the very first pitch to lose that game.
Another changeup. 1-2. Throw to first, and getting back in there is Abreu. Catcher Luis Torrens firing down there. 1-2 to count.
Diablo Stadium is one of the great venues here. It's in Tempe, and it's got a little mountain in left field, a left field wall, and just a gorgeous setting.
It's one of the older facilities, but it's been redone. And yeah, you're right. It's really nice. Here's the 1-2 to Delmonico, and he pulls that one. That's where Seth Mejias-Breen is, and that's an easy play for him. And the inning is over for Chris Paddock as he gets the Sox out. No runs, 1 hit for the Sox, and they leave Abreu, and after 1, San Diego 1, the Sox nothing.
Secure your 2020 ticket package and do it today. Take advantage of the best prices, flexible payment plans, and our ticket exchange program. Find the plan that's right for you at whitesox.com or text SoxTix to 312-674-1000. 1,000. We've played one here in Glendale, a kind of a cloudy, sunny, partly cloudy days, I guess is the right word to say it, and cool, but no rain. They dropped the forecast down to 15% chance. It was up at 60 earlier in the week, so the weathermen took it way down to 15, so let's hope it's down to 0 before it's all over, Russ.
They transferred the 60 to Keuchel's jersey. There you go, 1-0 Padres after one. Thanks, Rich. So now we go to the top of the second, and the former New York Mets center fielder, Juan Lagares, from the Dominican, 30 years old, standing in to lead things off in the second. Seth Mejia-Spreen and Esteban Quiroz to follow, and the pitch is high, ball one, 1-0. Juan Lagares grew up in a cool mountainous area in Constanza in the Dominican, so the weather here today kind of right up his alley. Here's the 1-0 on the way. That's a strike. 1-1. There weren't many baseball facilities in the area, so Juan grew up playing softball. He's credited his arm strength to his background in throwing the softball, bigger and heavier, and didn't transition to baseball until he was already a teenager. Here's the 1-1 on the way. That's fouled off to the right, out in front of that off-speed pitch. 1-2 strikes the count. Signed as a shortstop by the Mets was Lagares, and eventually shifted to the outfield and called up by the Mets in 2013, and was a Gold Glove Award winner the following year for the Mets in 2014. Pitch down low, 2-2. Just the third outfielder in the history of the Mets to win a Gold Glove Award. Tommy Agee and Carlos Beltran were the others. And he hung around with the Mets for a while longer. And there's a liner to short grab by Tim Anderson. Lagares makes solid contact, but he's out. One gone in the top of the second, and the batter now, Seth Mejia-Spreen. Lagares hustles back to the dugout. Another look at this. Fastball up, and Timmy's able to one-hand that one. Seth Mejia-Spreen stepping in now. And a pitch just missed for ball one. If you missed it, San Diego scored in the first when Abraham Almonte hit a double to left field, ground rule double, and then advanced to third in a ground out by Greg Garcia, and scored on a base hit up the middle through a drawn in infield by the veteran Brian Dozier. 1-0. Keuchel throws that one down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Seth Mejia-Spreen. He's from Tucson. He'll be 29 in April. There's a strike. Mejia-Spreen was with the University of Arizona, right in his hometown of Tucson, the Wildcats. Good baseball program there. Seattle Mariners had him first out of college. Change up, fouled off. 2-2. Padres call him up in September when the roster's expanded. I'm back with him this year. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Seth Mejia-Spreen. Playing first base today. He's played a lot of third in his career also. Esteban Quiroz on deck. Keuchel deals a little outside, ball 3. Close. 3-2. Sox back here tomorrow against the Oakland Athletics. Rich and I will be on with another webcast. Here's the 3-2 on the way. Chopper to short, easy 2-hopper for Tim Anderson. He zeroes in on Abreu, throws a bit high, but Jose is able to corral it. 2 down. And Esteban Quiroz will bat now. And tomorrow, same game time as today, as we see that ground ball again. Nice shoulder high hop for Anderson. Dylan Cease, hard-throwing righty, scheduled to pitch for the Sox tomorrow. And speaking of hard throwers, the fellow who will oppose him, big, tall, 6'8" lefty named A.J. Puck, one of the top prospects in Oakland's system. Fastball in the upper 90s and a snapdragon slider. There's ball 1, 1-0. It's going to be a good matchup tomorrow out here. The Sox in Oakland. 1 ball and no strikes on Esteban Quiroz. Fouled off. 1-1. There's Keuchel in his first ever game in his Sox uniform, facing Esteban Quiroz, who's from Mexico. He's played on the Mexico national baseball team. Ciudad Obregón in Sonora is his hometown. Here's the 1-1. That's inside third, past Moncada, the other way for a base hit. Jimenez gets it back in, and Quiroz, nice piece of opposite field hitting, punching that one the opposite way. There it is, a little inside out job on that inside breaking ball. Brings up Gabriel Arias now. That's the third hit for San Diego. Arias, a right-handed hitting shortstop. Batting in the ninth slot. Throw to first, and Quiroz back in. Arias 6'2", 185. He's from the Dominican Republic himself. He's in the Phillies organization first. There's a big bouncer that's going to trickle into right for a base hit. Quiroz going to third as the throw comes back to first, and they've got him. What a heads-up play by Dan Palka. He knew he did not have a play on Quiroz, running from first to third, running hard with 2 outs. So here it is again. Watch Palka. Watch this heads-up play. Looks at third, says nope, no dice. Throws behind him, and there's Jose Abreu to apply the tag, and the inning is over. Nicely done by Danny Palka in right field. No runs, 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. And at the end of an inning and a half, San Diego won, the Sox nothing.
Baseball, bring a group out for a White Sox game in 2020 and receive specially priced tickets along with a great experience. The White Sox have options for corporate outings, fundraisers, and more. For more information, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000. While Russ was hanging in there with the play-by-play, I had a chance to go and talk to Jim Tomei, or some of the all-time Hall of Famers. White Sox, and later on, when the game gets on the 7th or 8th inning, Russ, we'll talk about that. The last time the White Sox made the playoffs was 2008, and they made it thanks to that dramatic home run, long home run by Jim Tomei. There's some great comments from Jim about that day and about that team.
Okay, we'll look forward to those. And that 08, Rich and I were talking about that before the game started, how the Sox had to win some games right down to the wire and managed to do so. And it was quite an exciting finish. Here is Eloy Jimenez against Chris Paddock. 1-0 Padres in the bottom of the second. Camelback Ranch in Glendale. And he challenged him with a fastball right away, and Eloy fouled that one back. Strike 1, 0-1. Luis Robert on deck, and then James McCann in the bottom of the second inning here. James Tomei, 500 home run guy. Here's the pitch now. That's lifted to shallow right. Quiroz and Mejia Spreen going out. Cordero coming in, and the ball is handled after it falls in. It plopped in for a base hit in that little Bermuda Triangle in shallow right toward the line.
That could have fooled me, Russ. I'm glad you saw that one. Hazy sky here. There's the pop-up, and just find some room out there. I, quite frankly, from my naked eye, didn't see it, but apparently he did right. It dropped down there for a hit.
Quiroz, the second baseman, made a stab at it as he was angling out toward the foul line, and Cordero was coming in, and it just plopped in there. So, of course, it'll look like a bullet in the box score, and Eloy's 1 for 1. That's the second Sox hit. Abreu has the other. Here's Luis Robert. Ball 1.
Yeah, that was a great call, Russ. That was people understand sometimes when you do these games, a seasoned play-by-play guy, that's a hard call. I thought the ball was caught, but frankly.
1-0 on Luis Robert.
But you have to wait, right? You have to wait.
It helps. Here's the 1-0 to Luis. In the dirt, 2-0.
No, Jim Tomei, you could, there's some guys, Russ, that you hear them, they say, never had a bad word to say about the guy. That's Jim Tomei. Nobody,
yep.
He's the greatest guy. He was great when he played. He's great now. He probably was great before he played. He's just a wonderful person to be around. So positive and
down to earth.
Yeah, down to earth. No arrogance at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not a tint of it.
Throw to first, and in there is Jimenez.
And he was obviously a tremendous, tremendous player. So hear from him later on.
A fan favorite everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's a nice pitch. 2-1. That's that signature changeup of Chris Paddock. Talking to Beck Wheeler, who used to pitch. He was a reliever in the Mets organization, now working with San Diego. And he's talking about Paddock and they love how he commands his fastball. He's got that very nice change, and he's working on the breaking pitch to incorporate that into his repertoire and become a 3-pitch guy.
Yeah.
That's fouled off. 2-2.
Got the old style socks, the old style look.
Well, right now, in terms of colors, the Padres today look very old style. That's the same colors they had back in '69. 2-2. So the Clay Kirby, Preston Gomez references kind of mix in here. The pitch, that's on the ground is short. Arias goes to second for one, Quiros to first, and that is a 6-4-3 double play. 2 outs for the Sox in the bottom of the second, and James McCann will step in now.
Couldn't ask for a more perfect double play ball. That ball's hit hard right toward the bag at second. There's the replay. No doubt about it. Easy double play.
And here comes McCann.
Robert off to a pretty good start. Before that at bat, he was 4 for 10 with a home run, so he's off to a nice start in camp, which is crucial for him. He's got to get off to a good start when the season begins, too.
Two teams with really good young players throughout their farm systems. Breaking ball in the dirt ball one. The Sox and the San Diego Padres. And again, tomorrow, as I touched on it earlier, Sox will be here against Oakland. There's another team with some good young players. 1-0, James McCann. Fouled away. 1-1.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous to say when you say you get off to. Everybody wants to get off to a good start. In the case of a guy like Robert, who's in Eloy talked about this, and a bunch of players talk about it. You sign a contract like that, you want to show everybody what you can do, and you're pressed a little bit. So if he gets off to a good start, all the pressure is removed. So for a guy like Abreu, yeah, you want to get off to a good start, but there's no pressure for him. But for Robert, right now, there's a bunch of pressure.
Fouled away. 1-2.
And Eloy talked about that extensively, about what he went through and what Robert will go through, but hopefully he will not go through to the extent Eloy went through.
Right.
It's not easy.
Not at all. 1-2 on James McCann. Padres the early 1-0 lead. Chris Paddock winding and working in the next one. The first knocked down by Seth Mejias-Breen. Waves off Paddock and goes to the bag, and that's the inning. McCann grounds out to first after a couple of off-speed pitches. He got the fastball and hit it to first in the bottom of the second for the Sox. No runs, a hit, no errors, and no one left. And at the end of 2, Padres 1, Sox nothing.
Okay, fans, you can now customize your game day menu in a private diamond suite. Check out our food and beverage upgrades and learn more about our 20-person suite starting at just $112 per person. For more information, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000. White Sox battling in the clouds and partly sunny skies of Glendale, Arizona. Dallas Keuchel still on the hill, and here again is Russ.
Thanks, Rich. Look at the fans here in Glendale. Camelback Ranch. Partly cloudy, a little breezy, and the temperatures in the 60s today. San Diego coming up in the third, sitting up the top of the order now. Abraham Almonte, Greg Garcia, and Brian Dozier against that man, Dallas Keuchel. Almonte opened the game with a double, a ground rule double to left, or an automatic double, as some prefer to call it. Almonte, who was 30, well-traveled, Seattle, San Diego, Cleveland, Kansas City, Diamondbacks, Yankees, and now back with San Diego. Strike one. JT Snow, the former big league first baseman, who's now doing some color commentary across the valley from here in Scottsdale, where the Giants have their spring training home base, was talking about spring training, what it was always like for him, up and away one-on-one. He said he preferred, when he was a younger player, to get early at-bats against the veteran guys, because the veteran guys are around the plate more, working on some things. He's the guys you didn't want to face were the guys with a higher number jerseys working the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings trying to impress.
That's right. That's right.
2-1 to Almonte.
Well, that's a good point, Russ, because yesterday Bernardo Flores came in, and he struck out 4 guys in 2 innings. They couldn't get it. You can see the ball. I mean, he was on fire, but that's a good case in point, though. You face a guy like that, you have no idea what he's throwing, and you're up against it.
Almonte takes that one that just missed. Ball 3, 3-1.
So Keuchel working in the third here in his first ever appearance in a White Sox uniform.
Anderson is able to grab that ball, but in trying to make the transition and thinking about the jump throw, lost the grip. But that's a base hit for Almonte, who's 2 for 2, and Greg Garcia comes up, and here it is again.
Tim made a nice move getting to the ball, but really had no chance. Good thing he didn't throw it, because it would have been a very difficult throw.
Garcia, slow dribbler to shortstop Anderson, who was moving to the right a second to get that little bounding ball, which advanced Almonte to third. So Garcia's 0 for 1. 5 hits now for San Diego, and there's ball 1.
We're going to see Aaron Bummer a bit later on, Steve Cishek, Jimmy Cordero, Calvin Herrera, Alex Colomé. We haven't seen him yet. He's scheduled to pitch today.
There's a strike. 1-1 on Greg Garcia.
And Lucas Giolito coming along okay, should be ready to go pretty soon. So the guys who were nicked up a little bit, Grandal and Giolito and Gio Gonzalez, all on the mend and coming along quite fine.
1-1 is low, ball 2. 2-1. Two balls and 1 strike on Greg Garcia. This lefty on lefty matchup. Almonte held on by Jose Abreu. The Arista infield fanned out looking for double play with nobody out here. And he missed that one. Keuchel tossing that one in at 86. 2-2 on Garcia.
Dallas Keuchel, this is a blazing fastball, but he obviously great location. He says he confounds the sabermetrics guys with his numbers because it's kind of a pitcher that's under the radar, so to speak, in velocity terms.
Abreu's got that one. Turns. There's 1. There's 2. Wow.
Wow.
And the Padres don't totally agree on that, but that's the call. 2 down as each team has turned a double play. Here it is again.
How he stay on the base again. Here's the relay from Tim. Stumbles, gets off, the umpire making sure he did not drop the ball, and double play.
So there it is.
We'll take it.
3-6-3. And with 2 outs, here's Brian Dozier now. Strike 1.
San Diego, 5 hits on the board. White Sox have a pair. San Diego on top, 1-0 here in the third.
Strike 2. Painted the inside corner with that one. 2 strikes on Dozier.
Dallas Keuchel saying he's best he's felt in years in terms of spring training. Some nagging injuries a couple of years ago. And this year he's perfect health.
And got him. So that strikeout ends the inning. Keuchel gets his first strikeout. No runs in the San Diego third thanks to the double play. Garcia hitting it to Abreu. No runs on a hit. No errors and no one left. And at the end of 2.5, San Diego 1 and the Sox 0.
With a 10-game ticket package. Select the games that fit in your schedule and your budget. Lower level plans start at $205. Find the plan that's right for you at whitesox.com or call text SOX TIX to 312-674-1000. So a good 3 innings by Dallas Keuchel. It looks like Chris Paddock will continue for the Padres here as we go into the bottom half, inning number 3. And once again, here's Russ.
Thank you, Rich. In the bottom of the third, Sox begin with Dan Palka, then Larry Garcia. Then the lineup will turn over at the top with another switch hitter, Yoan Moncada. Chris Paddock through 2, giving up a couple of base hits and nothing else, as his team leading early 1-0. Paco looks at a strike on one. Danny at a Greer High School, South Carolina, drafted by the Phillies in 2010. Went to Georgia Tech. Drafted by Arizona in 2013. And now the 0-1. And he lifts that one to shallow left into foul territory. Garcia, the third baseman's there to make the catch. Nice play. He had a long way to go.
He did. Running toward the wall in a high sky. Fluffy clouds up there. Tough catch, but he made it.
Now Larry Garcia coming up. There's a young fellow.
Man can do it all. Playing at second base this year. Trying to adjust to that. He has not played a lot of second base in his career, but this year he's going to be in there when the bell rings.
Ball one.
Nick Madrigal, of course, waiting in the wings, and
right.
Sox have so many options they can go to with Larry Garcia. But he just signed a contract. Valuable man.
There's that changeup. Ball two, 2-0.
He's got the demeanor to do it too. Nothing bothers him. He's always cheery, coming around in the locker room. And Ricky Renteria really appreciates this guy. He's always high praise.
On the ground at first, that's flagged there by Seth Mejias Breen, who feeds it to Paddock in time. 2 down, 3-1. A couple of good plays by the Padres corner infielders, opening up the White Sox third, and now Yoan Moncada comes up.
That ball here just backed him up. For why I thought it was a tricky hop, stayed with it and made the play.
Moncada flat out to center, making decent contact. His first time up. Action in the Sox pen. Here's the pitch. There's that curveball taking low ball one. Last year, Paddock threw the curve about 10% of the time. Rest of the time, fastballs and changeups. Here's the 1-0 now to Moncada. That's a little too low with that fastball. 2-0.
Shift on from Moncada. Russ mentioned got good wood the last time up.
Good swing at that one, but he fouled it off. 92 miles an hour on the board on that pitch. Strike one, 2-1 on Yoan Moncada. Yoan trying to build on a really good 2019.
All the tools are there, and he's got the right attitude to have. Just keep improving.
Now the 2-1. There's that curve, and it's low. 3-1.
Mentioned earlier, these White Sox players, guys like Moncada, still very young and still learning, but putting up some great numbers in the process.
This will be a 3-1. You know, a guy likes his changeup, and he's not afraid to throw it 3-1.
That's a devastating pitch, isn't it?
And a fastball count, nice pitch. 3-2. And a payoff now. They thought he had him. You saw the catcher, Luis Torrens, starting to fire the ball down to Greg Garcia. And the decision was nope, that's ball 4. First walk of the game for either side, and extends the inning now for Tim Anderson.
It was low. You see it from up here. Euchre seats.
Tim Anderson. Timmy's 0 for 1. He tried to hold up on a pitch way up and in and went way around to strike out his first time up. Moncada 3 steps or so off of first. Curveball. Fouled away. Strike 1. He's going to that breaking ball a little bit more now.
He was on that pitch just ahead of it, but Paddock working extended innings today as Dallas Keuchel comes out of the box with 3.
Padres have won 6 in a row. Beat San Francisco yesterday 7-5. Throw to first, and again, Moncada back in there. This is Paddock's second appearance of the spring. He worked 2 innings a little less than a week ago against Cleveland, giving up 1 hit, no runs, striking out 3. Again to throw first, and he's back in.
Tim Anderson now 3 for 10 after the strikeout in the first inning in the spring games. An extra base hit, a double included in that 3-hit performance. The batting champ, Tim Anderson.
Here's the 0-1. Easy ground ball to third. Garcia's on this one and gets his man. 5-3. Padres get the Sox out in the third with no runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left. That's Moncada through 3. Padres 1, Sox nothing.
Spring training games live or on demand with MLB.tv. Watch high definition video of any size screen at home, on the road, or in the office. Visit MLB.tv for details. Okay, White Sox and Padres as the White Sox try to come back again in this one. Russ down by a run.
To the fourth we go. Some of the fans here taking this one in as Dallas Keuchel limbers up in his first ever White Sox appearance. He has gone through 3, given up 1 run, done a pretty good job of scattering the hits, a couple of infield hits, and total of 5 hits. No walks and a strikeout. Middle of the order coming up for San Diego. Franchy Cordero, Luis Torrens, and then Juan Lagares in the top of inning number 4. Lefty on lefty as Cordero comes up. He rolled slowly into a force play in that first inning. Base hit. Cordero wasting no time. Off-speed pitch at 75, and nice piece of hitting to get on base. That's the 6th hit for San Diego. Leadoff man on, and the batter Luis Torrens.
San Diego Padres last year 70 and 92. You mentioned earlier they have a lot of good prospects, but they've been in the rut for a long time. 4 straight 90-loss seasons, 9 straight with a losing record. So this franchise, despite the acquisition of Machado last year, still struggling to get on the board in that very tough division they're in, with the Dodgers sitting way on top.
I was talking to one of the there's a little slow tapper, tough play for Anderson. He charges, gloves, throws, and gets him. And on the play, Cordero goes to second. So Cordero swung at the first pitch and singled. Torrens hitting the ball on the ground to Timmy Anderson for the second time, and here it is again.
Yep, old Chopper Chin did a nice job of charging it, and a zip throw to first and got the out.
Gentlemen from the Padres are saying, look, we really believe in our good young players. They got Machado to try to get the young guys to coalesce around him. And then we don't have any illusions about the division as strong as the Dodgers are looking coming into 2020. But we think that we got as good a shot as anybody for a wild card. Here's Lagares, and he takes one in the dirt. Heading to third base is Cordero, the throw, and he's in there.
Oh.
Looked like he was going to get him,
Yep.
but did not. And so Cordero, safe at third, is likely to be called a wild pitch.
It will be a wild pitch. There's in the replay, and the end of it anyway. And it looks like they had him for a while, but he got in there. Well, you know, Russ, Machado last year, 166 average in September, 2 home runs the last 2 months of the season. So he did not pan out as he had hoped.
Anderson's got this one with the infield in, and they throw him out. So pulling the infield in was a strategy that paid off for the Sox that time. And that plus Anderson's range keeps Cordero at third with 2 down. The infield can back up at regular depth, and the batter Seth Mejia's Breen. Here it is.
Nice play again as the White Sox had the infield in. Runner did not try to score, and they got him at first base.
Good off-speed pitch. 2 down. Seth Mejia's Breen roll out to short. So we're in the 4th inning, and Tim Anderson putting on a clinic at shortstop. Got a lot of balls hit his way. He had 3 chances in the first inning. He had a put out and an assist in the second inning. He was in the middle of a 3-6-3 double play. There's Timmy last inning, and now he's had 2 ground balls hit to him consecutively here. Keuchel, who's won 4 Gold Gloves, lobs it over to first, and the inning is over. That's it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Keuchel walking off. That might be it for him today with action in the Sox bullpen. We'll see. After 3.5, San Diego 1, the Sox nothing.
An all-inclusive experience with a premium seating ticket package. Take advantage of the flexible payment plans in our ticket exchange program. with all-inclusive packages starting at 20 games. For more information, visit whitesox.com or call 312-674-1000. Bottom of the fourth, new pitcher for the Padres, and here's Russ.
Thank you, Rich King. Couple of our fans right there as the Sox come to bat in the bottom of the fourth, trailing 1-0. There's the new San Diego pitcher, the only change in this inning. Right-hander Craig Stammen, S-T-A-M-M-E-N. Chris Paddock, 3 innings. The starter, no runs, 2 hits. A walk and a strikeout. Good showing for Paddock. And Craig Stammen facing Jose Abreu. The pitch in the dirt ball 1. Jose had one of the only 2 hits off of Paddock with his infield hit to the diving Greg Garcia third. Stammen is a week away from his 36th birthday from North Star, Ohio. 6'2", was with the Washington Nationals originally, went to the University of Dayton. Pitches low, 2-0.
This will be his 3rd appearance of the spring. 2 innings pitched, nothing for Stammen. Perfect.
Several years with the Washington Nationals. He was with the Padres since 2017. Big swing by Jose. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Stammen, chosen by Washington in 05, climbed the ladder with them. Really paid his dues. Finally called up and had arthroscopic surgery. He was sidelined for a while. Here's the 2-1. Abreu pulls that one foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And then really found a home in the Nationals staff. 2016, he's had a minor league deal with Cleveland, and then going into 2017, hooked on with San Diego. Trying for a bounce back year. He had some good moments and some rocky moments last year. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Abreu. 3-2. One time in June in one game, he was facing his old team, Washington, and allowed 4 straight home runs. Howie Kendrick, Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, and then Anthony Rendon. He did tied for the big league lead in holds last year. Here's the 3-2 to Jose Abreu. Stammen, veteran righty, deals. Got him to chase that one. 1 out, and Nicky Delmonico will come up.
Well, Rendon yesterday blasted one against the White Sox, a 3-run shot in the very first inning, as the Angels had their top liners in there right off the bat.
There's Nicky, 0 for 1, grounded out to first against the starter Chris Paddock to end the first inning. Facing Craig Stammen. Stammen's a sinker guy, sinker slider type guy. And Delmonico facing him right here. Ball 1. Reached a point of the game where there's generally action in both bullpens throughout the rest of the day, as there is right now.
Long outing for Dallas Keuchel in his first outing as the White Sox.
Five hits. Then the 6th hit for San Diego came opening up the 4th. But for Keuchel, who is likely out of the game now, a nice outing. 4 innings, allowed to 1 run on 6 hits. Fouled away, 1-1. No walks, and he recorded 1 strikeout. Eloy Jimenez is on deck. Nicky DHing today. There's Eloy. Base is clear, 1 down. Stammen back with a 1-1. Off speed. Missed that one. 1-2.
So the Padres, wrapping them up, they wind up 36 games out last year. I mentioned the record of 70 and 92. And they have not made the playoffs in 13 years in a row. 9 straight losing seasons. That's hard to swallow. And the rebuild is a long time in coming. starting pitching, and Paddock is listed in some depth charts as their #1 starter. They got Lamet, Garrett Richards, Joey Lucchese. Of course, the big gun for them is Machado. Hit .256 last year, had 32 home runs, 85 RBIs, but these days 32 home runs, pretty average for a big man like him.
Pitch inside, 3-2. You mentioned the Padres have not had a no-hitter in their history. They also have not won a World Series. They've been in 2 of them. 84, they lost to the Sparky Anderson / Kirk Gibson Tigers, and in 98 they ran up against the Yankees. Ball's hit well. Lagares going way back, way back, way back. Now puts it away on the warning track. Lagares, a very good outfielder. That ball was hit well. Nicky gave it a good, healthy ride to the right of the 410 sign, and just a long out, 2 down.
It's in the wrong part of the ballpark. A lot of room out there and center toward right, and that ball was hauled in on the warning track. Good contact, though, on that swing. Of course, the Padres beat the Cubs in the playoff series. In fact, they lost the first 2 games at Wrigley Field and came back, and I think that was '84, and beat them at San Diego.
It looked like they're going to win.
Yeah, Leon Durham made a big error in that series.
Low, ball 1. In the decisive game, Rick Sutcliffe, who had the huge year for the Cubs, had a 3-0 lead midway through that game. And the Padres managed to come back and did what they had to do. 1-0 on Jimenez. Eloy 1 for 1. He hit that little pop fly into shallow right. Good breaking ball, 1-1. It was doubled up on the ground ball by Luis Robert immediately thereafter.
Padres train in Peoria, along with the Seattle Mariners.
Now the 1-1. That's really hit. Lagares racing back on this ball and not going to get it. Cordero's going to have to help out. Jimenez has a double, and that ball was really scalded, and Eloy's 2 for 2.
Eloy going the other way again. He's got that great power to right, center, and right. Saw it the other day with a home run. Surprise, this replay shot in the gap, and no way they're going to get it. For a while I thought he was trying to get 3 on it, but he slowed up at second base when he realized he couldn't make it. But that ball was really drilled.
And Luis Robert, who rolled into a 6-4-3 double play against Paddock, now going to bat against Craig Stammen right here. Third Sox hit. Jimenez has 2 of them. And there's Luis. So Abreu a single, Jimenez a single and a double. Those are the Sox hits early in this one. Padres got the run in the first off Dallas Keuchel. Leadoff man Abraham Almonte doubled and scored on a base hit by Brian Dozier. 2 outs, and if Robert extends the inning, James McCann getting loose on deck with a weighted bat would be next.
Robert now 4 for 11, including a home run in the Cactus League.
Slowly hit, foul, strike 1.
You watch Eloy come along. We've had a great opportunity here in the last 3 years covering these webcast games. You watch him develop, Russ, and it's amazing how the experience factor, everybody calms down after a while. At first maybe the swing's a bit off, you're too aggressive, and in Eloy's case, though, when watching him 3 years ago, you could tell he's going to be a great player because the ball just jumped off his bat. And you can see the same thing with Robert. You can see the talent, and eventually it's going to come out, barring injury, and certainly has with Eloy, and now it's going to probably do the same thing with Robert.
Jammed him. That's near the dugout. Let's see if Garcia has room. He does not. Oh.
Pandas got away from that one. Thank goodness, I think.
Hit right near those the guys with the Giants jerseys on.
I think it hit him on the shoulder. Maybe it's okay. Good. That thing was up there for a long time. I don't think they saw it.
He's okay.
All's well that ends well.
That's it.
That's right.
2 strikes. Terens setting up in. And he got in on him a little bit again. That fly ball to left, routine for Almonte. And the veteran squeezes that one, and that's the inning. A couple of well-hit balls, though. The Delmonico fly ball close to 400 feet that was caught. And Jimenez long double, but that's it. In the Sox fourth, no runs, a hit, no errors. A man left through 4. Padres 1, Sox nothing.
Host a pregame patio party at Guaranteed Rate Field this season. Treat your group to a 2-hour and all-you-can-eat buffet, along with unlimited beer, wine, and Coca-Cola products. Visit WhiteSox.com or call 312-674-1000 for more information. Good game, 1-0. San Diego leading the White Sox, top of the 5th inning. A good job by Dallas Keuchel, 4 innings in his first White Sox appearance, and now the veteran, now left-hander Aaron Bummer on the hill. Russ.
Thank you, Rich. There's Aaron. He's 26. Santa Clarita, California. 6'3", 200-pounder at Sunrise Mountain High School. Been with the Sox since 2017. This is Aaron's second appearance of the spring. He worked back on February 25th against the Giants, a scoreless inning with a couple of strikeouts, a hitless inning, facing Esteban Quiros, and his ball 1. So again for Keuchel in his White Sox debut. 4 innings, 1 run earned, 6 hits. No walks and a strikeout. And not a whole lot of solid contact. Did a good job. Quiros singled inside third his first time up. And Bummer uncoils, and this one's on the ground right to Moncada. Yohan's got that one, and that's an easy play. 5-3. Quiros 1 for 2. 1 gone for the right-handed hitting shortstop Gabriel Arias. 1 for 1 in this game.
Mentioned that Aaron last year had a little rough camp, got a little oblique thing going on, but came back and used that as a catalyst. He said he realized he had to bear down and got back on the club, and the rest is history. What a sensational year he had for the White Sox in terms of all kinds of stats, getting first guys out, and you name it, he was in the top 2 or 3 in every category, and a tremendous, tremendous season for 26-year-old Aaron Bummer.
Arias takes ball 1. That was close. And he ended up with a 2.13 ERA, did Bummer, in 67 1/3 innings. Arias hit the chopper that went into shallow right field with 2 outs, and Esteban Quiros at first base in the second inning. There's another big chopper. He's got that one down, Pat. Barehanded by Larry Garcia, who throws him out. And I'll tell you what, the Sox are making some very nice defensive plays, and that was another one, and Arias has been victimized twice now. Here it is.
Wow, that was a great play. There's no way he's going to get him except that way. The bare hand. He was flying down the line, barehanded it, and made the throw. Great play by Leary, and that shows you what he can do at second base.
He knows it. He knows he got it. That's a nice play.
The guy's amazing. He can play everywhere.
2 down. Abraham Almonte doubled and scored and singled. Yeah. Where can't he play?
He is. The center field, he was pretty good out there last year. We saw him a lot in center field.
Probably change your oil for you.
He likes to play shortstop. I asked him his favorite position. He said shortstop.
Strike 1.
But he won't play shortstop. Not this year.
Not this year.
Or anytime soon.
Doesn't look like it. A strike on Almonte. Anyway, getting back to Arias, he hit the chopper into right. Quiros was going from first to third with 2 outs. Another strike. Good fastball. Danny Palka picked the ball up, looked toward third, saw that Quiros had it, and then quickly turned and flipped it to Jose Abreu. Arias had rounded the bag at first, and Abreu grabbed Palka's throw and reached out and tagged him out. End of inning. That's fouled off his foot. I'll hobble around and shake off the effects of that one. 1-0 Padres. We're in the 5th.
Bummer throws fastballs mainly, 76%. Slider, cutter, and a changeup a little bit.
He went to high school not far from here, over in Peoria.
Another guy I mentioned, the guy's coming along in the 3 years I've been here doing these games with you, Russ. Every year he's looking for his stuff, looking to settle down, but it's a maturity and knowing you can do it, and that happened for him last year. It happened for Jace Fry and a few others.
Strike 2 pitch. And that one just missed. 1-2.
It's almost like your first broadcast when you know you can do it, right?
There you are.
You know you can get there.
You got to trust your stuff. Strike 3. The 0-2 was close. The 1-2 was closer. Bummer throws a perfect fifth. Couple of ground balls. A little help from Larry Garcia on the ball hit by Arias. And Almonte out on strikes. And we've halfway through this one after 4.5 in Glendale. Padres 1, Sox nothing. Hello. Great way to spend an afternoon in March. At Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. Along with Rich King, Russ Langer here. The Sox are trailing San Diego 1-0 to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're in the wrong seat, buddy. He missed the tag.
Funny you mentioned that. I was mentioning great commercials. And that wasn't the all-time greats. And Bob Uecker got kicked out of the box seats, which he illegally tried to get into, and then wound up in the upper right field corner, saying he missed a tag on that play.
Must be in the front row.
Yeah. Busy week here for the White Sox and for us. We have tomorrow's game against Oakland. Sox go to Milwaukee and Maryvale on Wednesday. They come back here to face Colorado. We have that game for you on Thursday.
There's Steven Wilson, the new pitcher for San Diego. So Craig Stammen went 1 inning in relief for Chris Paddock, the starter, allowed no runs on a hit, 1 strikeout, and the right-hander Wilson taking on the bottom 3 for the Sox. James McCann, Dan Palka, and Larry Garcia. Bottom of the 5th, 1-0 San Diego. Outside with a fastball at 92. 1 ball to no strikes. Steven Wilson, 6'3", 185. 25 years old. You get a look at McCann rare, and there's Wilson. He is 25. He'll be 26 in August. This new pitcher from Littleton, Colorado. Waved at that one, 1-1. 8th round pick by the Padres in 2018.
James McCann has done most of the catching here, along with Yadmin Mercedes and Zach Collins, with Yasmani Grandal slowed down by that calf injury here in camp.
Here's a 1-1. Nice breaking ball. Fouled off to the right. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wilson was in the minors. Again, you drafted in 2018, so you figured he's going to be in the minors in 2019, and he was, but very productive in his combined efforts where he was in the minors. He worked 64 innings as a reliever, allowing only 45 hits. He struck out 85, walking 26. Opponents hit just 200 against him. The 1-2. McCann 0 for 1 with a ground out. He fouls that one back.
And I saw that double by Eloy Jimenez in the previous inning. And the game I saw a couple of days ago in Surprise against Texas, hit the same kind of shot. It got out for a home run in that ball game in the 2nd inning. Got great power to right and right center. Also in that game in Surprise, Luis Robert hit a massive home run to left.
McCann jammed, then he fished that one foul to the right. 1-2.
And tomorrow in this game, which we have here for you, we're going to see Ronaldo Lopez on the hill. He was rained out in the first scheduled game, the opener here in the Cactus League.
Going up against one of the top prospects in the Oakland system, 6'8" lefty A.J. Puck for Oakland tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting one. Here's the 1-2, and he threw the fastball right by him. 1 out. Dan Palka coming up. He fouled out to third, facing the starter Chris Paddock, leading off the 3rd inning. 1-0 Padres. They got the run back in the 1st. Talking about the history of the San Diego franchise, Rich. And I remember the '98 series. They just ran into the buzzsaw. The Yankees were just so good. And the first 2 games were in New York. The Yankees won both of those. The series shifted to San Diego. The Yankees won Game 3. And they took a sizable lead in Game 4. it was clear late in the game that they were going to win.
Right.
Here's the pitch to Palka, and Dan swings and fouls that one away, strike one. So not only was it clear the Yankees were going to win the game, but they were going to sweep the series. They were a sizable lead in Game 4, up 3-0. And they panned the cameras, TV cameras panned the stands in San Diego, and somebody held up a sign that said, "No matter what happens, we still live in San Diego."
That's a great one. That's a good one. They're right. It's a great town. That reminds me of another great sign of all time. And back when the Cubs began one year, I forget which year, Harry Kay was doing the games. They lost 14 to start the season, 14 in a row. They were in New York facing the Mets. And Arnie Harris, the great director in Chicago, panned this crowd and saw a sign that said, big WGN on it. And it said, "We're going nowhere."
Oh.
I'm sure that the management at the station didn't appreciate that.
Not really. Good changeup.
But Harry, to his credit, said, "Wow, what do you expect when you're losing the games we're losing?"
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Sometimes a lot of losing can produce interesting quotes and interesting results. The 1-2 now to Palka, and young Steven Wilson throws this one, and there's a ground ball to the right side. Right there is Esteban Quiroz. Sidearms it over to first. 2 down for Larry Garcia, who's 0 for 1. 1988, the Baltimore Orioles lost their first 21 games, 0-21. They were 0-9 when they let Cal Ripken Sr. go as manager and replaced him with Frank Robinson. They continued to lose. They were 0-21. They finally won. I think it was the Sox. They beat 5-3
in Chicago. Yeah.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
And after they finally won a game to go 1-21, Frank Robinson looked at the assembled media and with a straight face said, "Everybody's gunning for us because we're hot."
I remember interviewing Frank Robinson in Chicago during that streak. He was pretty open about it. He wasn't mad about it. He was, very, very gracious. What are you going to do, right? I think one year the Mets, I forget, Ralph Kiner told this story. The first pitch of the game, I'll tell you a second.
1-0 to Garcia, trying to keep the inning going with Moncada on deck. That one just missed, 2-0.
I think the first pitch of the game, the Mets pitcher threw a ball, and there was a guy put up a sign that said, "Wait till next year."
2-0 on Larry Garcia, who grounded out to first baseman Seth Mejias-Breen on a 3-1 bouncing ball in the third inning. Here's the 2-0 now. 3-0. It seemed like almost every year when the Dodgers would win the National League pennant, they play the Yankees, and the Yankees would win. 1941, 1949, 1952, 1953. Right. And the Brooklyn Eagle newspaper at the end of the series would say, "Wait till next year." Wait till every year. Wait till next year. Here's the 3-0. And that's ball 4, and the inning is kept alive for Moncada. Finally, 1955. Right. Brooklyn beat the Yankees.
That's right. Yeah.
And in 1956, the Yankees beat the Dodgers again. Don Larson threw the perfect game. Yankees win. And the Brooklyn Eagle paper said, "Wait till last year."
That was their only deal back in the 50s. They won, and 2 years later they're out of town. The Brooklyn Eagle was a big part of that community, too.
Oh, yeah.
The paper eventually folded.
Moncada flied out and walked, 0 for 1. Back in is Garcia.
Well, the Padres got a lot of young talent, but they have to. It eventually has to. The fans get burned out on it, burned out on the rebuild.
Ball 1.
Not to mention the team itself, the brass. White Sox went through it, and now they're coming out of it, and the future. Looking at this roster, next 4 or 5 years, it's a big window here to do some damage.
Throw to first, and Garcia scrambles back in there before the tag of Seth Mejias-Breen.
But Russ, when we were watching Moncada strike out in his first year, you thought, man, this is rough, right? but here he comes, a great prospect and developed, and now bona fide star.
No question. Again, Larry had a good lead and draws a throw. The history of baseball landscape is littered with guys who struggled initially. I mean, we talked the first day here,
right,
Rich, about Paul Konerko.
Right.
And the Dodgers had him, and then he went to the Reds and the Jeff Shaw trade. And
Willie Mays got off to a slow start. I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, Don Kessinger won first year. He played a bunch of errors.
right there's the second baseman, Quiros. He makes this play. Young Steven Wilson gets through the 5th inning. The Sox with no runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. We head to the 6th. Padres lead the Sox 1-0. Well, Sox faithful enjoying themselves out here, and why not? Sox 5 wins, 3 defeats, 1 tie. A lot of optimism coming into camp. Good reason, playing the 7-1 San Diego Padres. Best record in spring training, San Diego. There's Alex Colomé, righty, coming in to face the Padres in the 6th. I'm Russ Lang along with Rich King.
Alex Colomé, another good year for him. Among the American League leaders, 2nd in save percentage, 90.9, tied at 4th in saves with 30, and 6th in save opportunities, 33. Kind of a guy, Russ, that you talk to him and he has great mentality. Never, not too much, not too much excitement, but his mentality is. I asked him what the secret is to closing. He said, it's 1 inning. Treat it as 1 inning. Don't treat it as anything special. And I guess that's obviously worked for him.
He's listed at 6'2", 185, facing Greg Garcia, who's 0 for 2. Strike 1. Garcia against Dallas Keuchel, grounded to short. There's Alex, and they've rolled into a nice 3-6-3 double play. Each team has turned 1 double play today. 1-0. San Diego so far has made their first inning run stand up, and we've reached the 6th. Brian Dozier on deck, fouled away. 0-2. Colomé from the Dominican Republic. Time with Tampa Bay, time with the Seattle Mariners. There he is, and born New Year's Eve, 1988, 31 years old.
This ball kind of explodes over the plate. Really good fastball, good break on it. And even though he says it's 1 inning, it's an art to be a closer. There's a big difference than being a setup guy and a closer, obviously.
The 0-2. Oh, high 1-2.
And you hear people say, well, a guy can come in and be a good closer, he can be a good save. I'm not the only guy who feels this way. Tony La Russa, pretty much has been his philosophy. You gotta have a different mentality when you're a closer. It's an art.
Not a 1-2. Nope. Here he comes. Just missed there. 2-2. Yeah, the baseball history, you can take a look. Been plenty of guys who could pitch the 8th who had trouble pitching the 9th.
Right. We got a guy in the radio booth, Ed Farmer, who was a closer, and talked to him about it. Says the same thing. It's a different ball game. The game's on the line, or tied, or 1-run lead, and it's tough.
Just missed again. 3-2.
It's like the final round of golf. Every week you watch the PGA Tour. Guys are doing great first 2-3 rounds, and that last round, you see the errant shots, the hooks and the slices, and that's because it's pressure. It's a huge difference. In my case, hooks and slices all the time.
Well, me too. I didn't need the pressure to do that.
Doesn't matter what round it is for me or what day.
People say, how close is the team hotel to Camelback Ranch? Oh, it's about 12 golf strokes, or about 93 of my golf strokes. Here's the 3-2 to Garcia, and Colomé, who was an all-star in 2016, delivers the next one, and that one is fouled away, and it's still 3-2 with Brian Dozier waiting in the wings on deck.
I tell, golf is obviously a very tough thing to master. Late in my career in WGN-TV, I had a chance to meet Jack Nicklaus twice. He was in Chicago for various events, charity events. And the second time, he had some time after the interviews. He was just hanging around. It was a cocktail kind of thing. And we talked to him a little bit. I'll say in a second here.
Timmy Anderson, a good effort, but couldn't get there. A nice at bat by Garcia as Luis Robert gets it back in.
And
1 for 3.
I had the audacity to ask him. I said, Jack, I said, shoot, upper 80s, whatever. He said, use the front tees. He was the easiest tees you got. And that was great advice. So now when I go out there, buddy said, let's play the blues. I said, forget it. Jack Nicklaus told me personally to play the front tees.
Who are we to argue?
Exactly. How many people meet Jack Nicklaus in their lives? So I got a great excuse.
That's huge.
Great guy.
Dozier has singled in the game's only run back in the first against Keuchel when Almonte opened with a double. And Dozier drove him in. Then he struck him out. Keuchel got his only strikeout to end the third. The pitch high ball 1. Oh no, it's 7 hits now for San Diego. Sox just 3. Padres with a 1-0 advantage in the 6th. And there's Brian Dozier, who will be 33 in May. Many years with the Twins, a little time with the Dodgers, time with the Nationals, an All-Star 5 years ago, won a Gold Glove as recently as 2017. And there's a base hit for Dozier. So the base hit by Garcia is followed by a Dozier base hit as Robert scoops that one up and gets it back in. And Colomé greeted with a couple of singles, and here's Franchi Cordero now.
So Colomé making his first appearance of the spring in the Cactus League. There it is, right down the middle of the plate. Straight fastball looked like, and drilled in the center field. So 2 on for the Padres, who lead 1-0 here in the top of the 6th on what's turned into a nice sunny day here in Glendale after some initial threats of rain that's dissipated, and we got blue skies and fluffy clouds above. You see their beautiful setting here in Arizona.
Infield looking for 2. But Cordero, who against Keuchel hit into a force play and then hit a ground ball single up the middle, opening up the 4th, and was left at 3rd. 2 on, nobody out, 6th inning. San Diego's out hit the Sox 8-3, but they only lead 1-0 in the column that counts, and that's ball 1 to Franchi Cordero, also from the Dominican. Made his big league debut in 2017.
Since 2016, Alex Colomé second in saves behind Roberto Osuna. Colomé 126, Osuna 134.
Left side of the infield wide open. The pitch fouled away. 1-1 to count.
And more impressive, he has more than Aroldis Chapman. Chapman at 111. Colomé again 126 since 2016.
There's a look at that infield. Tim Anderson swung to the right a second. Cordero, lots of power. Here's a look now. Got that one by him.
What's interesting too, Russ, is he's 90.9 percentage in saves last year. Hoyt Wilhelm back in 1964, 100% saves in that year for a man they call the Doctor, Hoyt Wilhelm.
First reliever to get into the Hall.
He had on that cocked head. He came in, he looked like he had a sore neck.
Cordero's been beset by injuries for a while, but he's got a lot of power, as I said, and also runs very well. Here's the 1-2, and that's a very high pop-up. And the umpires call the infield foul rule as Timmy Anderson squeezes it. That's out number 1. And that brings up the catcher, Luis Torrens.
Hoyt Wilhelm, of course, had the knuckleball going for him. A big catcher's glove.
They called him Old Sarge, didn't they?
Yeah, well, Bob Elson called him the Doctor. I don't know. He said, I guess the dancing medicine show or something like that, but he was a great pitcher. Placed a long time.
A lot of different teams, too.
Yep.
Torrens 0 for 2 at a couple of ground balls to Tim Anderson, one resulting in a force play. And there's ball 1.
Sox had another knuckleballer, Wilbur Wood, who was a workhorse.
Wilhelm he appeared in World War II.
Yep, way back.
For the Sox mostly in the 60s. And of course, they had Eddie Fisher, too. Talk about another knuckleball guy.
Exactly.
There's the pitch, and Torrens takes a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
We're going to talk about we're going to delay the 2008 talk till tomorrow. We look back. We interviewed Jim Thome. We'll present that to you tomorrow. Last time the White Sox made the playoffs was 2008, and we'll talk about that. Great season, a great end of that season, as we talked about earlier, with Thome hitting the home run that got the White Sox into the playoffs against Tampa.
The 1-1. A little low. 2-1.
And that year, the Cubs were in it too. They were on opposite ends of the continent, playing the Dodgers. Kept us busy for a while. In a good way.
2008, quite an interesting year. Tampa, no history of winning or even close. Got to the World Series and lost to the Phillies. The 2-1, that's a strike. 2-2.
In that ballpark, to me, it's a tough place to watch a game. But they've done well over the years down there. They're always talking about getting a new ballpark, but they always get it voted down or politicized down, I guess is the right word.
2-2 on Torrens. Garcia at second, Dozier at first, 1 gone in the top of the 6th. Colomé gave up a couple of singles to Greg Garcia and Brian Dozier opening the inning, and he's trying to get a ground ball and to get out of it if he can. The runner from second goes. That's a strike, and stealing third base with no problem is Greg Garcia. The Torrens out on strikes. McCann's throw was low. Moncada did well to dig it. And a stolen base by Garcia. The trail man Dozier stayed at home. So runners at the corners, 2 down. Here it is again.
He had a great jump. No chance at all for that McCann. He was in there easily. Tremendous jump. But there's 2 outs now, right? Yep, 2 outs.
Lagares against Keuchel lined out to short. Then with the infield in, grounded out to short. With Cordero at third and 1 out and pulling the infield in. Good strategy for the Sox right there. So it keeps it a 1-0 game. And now Lagares stepping in against Alex Colomé.
His uncle is a former Major League pitcher, Jesus Colomé, who pitched for Tampa Bay. I mentioned them earlier. 2001 to 2006 in Washington, Milwaukee, and Seattle among his teams in his career.
Strike in the outside corner. Good pitch. 0-1.
He's also a close friend of fellow Dominican and all-star reliever Fernando Rodney. His nickname on the sheet here says El Caballo, which is horse, as you well know, Russ, in Spanish. El Caballo.
And Lagares takes one the opposite way. Garcia scores. Dozier stops at second as the new right fielder, Luis Gonzalez, who's finishing in right for Daniel Palka, gets it back in. And Juan Lagares gets an attaboy right there from first base coach Wayne Kirby. 2-0 San Diego. Here it is again.
There's a smash. Again, the pitch up in the zone and ripped in the right field. So Colomé nicked for a run. 2-0 Padres here. And bidding for more runners on first and second. Looks like a pinch runner coming in there at first base for San Diego.
And a pinch hitter for Seth Mejias-Preen. The pinch hitter is Ty France. I'll get a little idea about that pinch runner you see there in just a moment. There's France. Ty France called up a couple of times from AAA El Paso last year. And at El Paso, he's one of the top sluggers in the Pacific Coast League. Now he's pinch hitting with 2 on, 2 out. In the 6th, San Diego leading 2-0. We've got 9 hits now. Sox with just 3. That's off to the right and out of play. Strike 1. Takes a big kangaroo hop in the stands.
Battle is on for that ball here in the sunshine. And nice grab there.
Considering the fact that it's spring training for the fans, that's a pretty good play.
It's the best time to be here. I tell you, I saw some of the intimate. These parks are intimate. They're close to the action. Sunshine.
Three hits in the inning, 1 run. Colomé trying to mitigate the damage here, and that's a little inside. Close.
So Colomé, the third White Sox pitcher. Keuchel, Bummer, and now Alex.
Looks like Edward Olivares is the pinch runner at first for Juan Lagares. 1-1. Colomé taking his time. Now he's all set to go, and the 1-1 on the way to tie France. Big swing and a foul back out of play. That pitch at 95, says the board. 1-2.
Aaron Bummer worked the scoreless fifth, struck out a guy to come to the ground. That's a nice play behind him by Larry Garcia. Barehanded grab, and it got the runner at first base. It was on Arias.
Ball and 2 strikes. Dozier off second. Olivares, the pinch runner, the other way. Grommel to the hole, picked up by Anderson. Long throw right on target. Nice play by Tim Anderson in mid-season form in this game. He's made several very good plays, and that play caps the San Diego 6. The Padres do get 1 run on 3 hits. No errors, leaving a couple. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Padres 2, Sox nothing. Righty. Howdy do. We're here in Camelback Ranch. Some of the fans here soaking in the Rays and soaking in the game. Bottom of the 6th, 2-0 San Diego. I'm Russ Langer along with Rich King. That's Kyle Barraclaw, the new pitcher for San Diego. Steven Wilson went an inning, allowed no runs or hits, a walk and a strikeout. It's been Chris Paddock, Craig Stammen, Wilson, and now Barraclaw.
Barraclaw's second outing of the spring, and 27th gave up a hit and a strikeout in his first. And he's facing the middle of the order here. Anderson, Abreu, and Delmonico as the Sox try to get back in this one. Come from behind again. They're down 2-0.
A couple of other defensive changes in right field. Taylor Trammell finishing for Franchi Cordero. Trammell out in right. And Olivares, who ran for Juan Lagares, is remaining in the game in center field. Edward Olivares in center. Abraham Almonte still in left. And the pitch is ball 1 to Tim Anderson. Tim has struck out and grounded out, but has made several really good plays, including that last play, Rich, that ended the 6th inning and a ball hit to the hole by pinch hitter Ty France that saved a run from scoring. That ball's hit well. Olivares getting tested right away, but he appears to be there and makes the catch with the sun reflecting off his shades. 1 gone. And the batter is Jose Abreu.
Well, if you talk to Anderson, as we have, you know that one of his goals is to win a Gold Glove this year or next, whatever, but he's working hard on his defense, wants to cut down on his errors, but he's worked hard. And overall, the White Sox defense, I know it's only spring training, but the last 3 games they've gone no errors each game, and except for Cuthbert, who's made 3 errors, everybody else looked pretty good.
Strike 1 to Jose Abreu, 0-1. New third baseman is Ivan Castillo. I think there's some other changes that we will pass along to you as we get them. Two nothing Padres. Sox trying to get on the board against the 7-1 Padres, who've won 6 in a row. 1-1.
And they lost their second game, and that was it.
Bases empty, 1 gone. We're in the bottom of the 6th. San Diego 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 6th. That's been it so far.
Oh.
Got him. That one got him. Fastball up and in, got him. And then Jose, who has singled and struck out in this game, heads to first. And Nicky Delmonico coming up. Here it is again.
Let's see where they got him. Inside, obviously, and in the shoulder, thank goodness.
I think the upper part of the left arm,
yeah,
maybe.
the muscle, which is great. A lot of muscle there to get the impact. That's going to be it for Jose.
I believe that's Gavin Sheets running from at first. And there's a new first baseman, by the way, for San Diego. That's Ty France. Pinch hit for Seth Mejias Breen and stays in at first. So Sheets running for Abreu. Outside ball one, and Nick Delmonico, who's grounded out and flat out to the warning track and center. So you get hit by the pitch and you go in and take some ice.
Well, Jose, talk about defense. We talked to him late last year on the road in Detroit about his defensive goals. Had a great year defensively last year. You know, we saw him late in the year, and I was telling him, was that your best year? And he said, it was my best year. He's working hard with Super Joe McEwen. He played third base in Cuba, and the ball comes off the bat differently, obviously, at third base than first. And Joe was telling me that the footwork was the main thing with Jose. And, of course, he's a hard worker, stayed with it before the game, practicing, and become a very good, above average first baseman. He's got a great set of hands, too.
Two balls and a strike on Nick Delmonico. Bearclaw, time of the Marlins, Washington, and the Giants. Out of Santa Clara, California. He'll be 30 in May. And there's a look at Nick Delmonico. That's in the air outside third. Ivan Castillo, fresh into the game, makes that catch. 2 down. Delmonico for 3. And here comes Eloy Jimenez.
And on third base, defensively, also Moncada's been playing very well. And you look at this infield, it has potential, obviously, to be one of the best in the game with the averages they have batting and also the great gloves.
No question about it.
It's a solid infield.
Jimenez looking for his third hit. He has singled and doubled in this game. Breaking ball in the dirt, smothered there. Ball 1-0.
And the big question mark, whenever you have a guy change positions like Leary did, you have to be concerned a little bit about the transition. But so far, we've seen, Russ, you and I here in camp, he's played it pretty well. He's pivoting very well on the double play. He had a great play coming in today and barehanded grab. So his defense looks like it's right there at second base.
Here's the 1-0. Try to hold up. He could not. 1-1.
In the outfield, Robert looks like he's solid in center. Gets a good jump on the ball. And Mazzara in right. Of course, Eloy's working hard on his defense, and he wants to stay in the whole game. Ricky asked him if he wants to be taken out in late innings for defensive purpose. He said, no, I want to stay in there. And he's working hard to prove himself.
Fly ball to right. Taylor Trammell has it lined up waiting. He's got it. And that's that. So Bearclaw follows suit with the other relievers and the other pitchers for that matter, all of them. And the White Sox are finished in the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors. They leave pinch runner Gavin Sheets, and we go to the 7th inning. San Diego 2, Sox nothing. Here we go, some Sox fans, and we have reached the 7th inning. Along with Rich King, Russ Langer, Padres with a run in the 1st, a run in the 6th, leading 2-0 into the 7th inning, and there's your new pitcher for the Sox.
Steve Cishek, the side armor right-hander. The last couple of years with the Cubs, Joe Madden used him a lot, 80 games, 70 games. I talked to him about that and about the workload he has endured with the Cubs. Here's Steve Cishek.
You know, I love being out there. I love being able to, help the team at any cost, and so I enjoyed my time up there, and hopefully I can continue to do that for the White Sox.
You look at your numbers, a lot of games the last couple of years, but you thrive on that. You say, how do you cope with that?
Just a lot of preparation. I come in early, make sure my body's well taken care of, doing my soft tissue work, doing my video work to mentally get ready, fine tune some stuff, and it's a lot. But I try to give myself the best chance to be able to pitch on a day-to-day basis.
People may not realize it, but you're up and throwing sometimes without getting in a game, so you're actually getting more work.
Yeah, exactly. So just because we're not in the game doesn't mean we're not throwing off the mound. So then you waste some so-called bullets out there too. So you just kind of got to measure all that and try to be as honest as you can with yourself, but realizing that every day you're not going to feel actually 100%. So I call it my new 100% for the day. So I just have to be content with what I got.
Comments of Steve Cishek right there as he's got a 1-1 count on Esteban Quiroz, who is singled and grounded out in this game. And he pulls that one in the air to shallow right. That's where Luis Gonzalez is trotting in. And he's got that one. One down, and that brings up shortstop Gabriel Arias, who's 1 for 2 also. And was robbed of a base hit in the 5th inning when he faced Aaron Bummer. Hit a high chopper, and Larry Garcia made a great bare hand play to throw him out.
A lot of games, and you got to give him credit. He loves going out there, but that's 150 games in 2 years. That's a load.
Nice breaking ball for a strike. 1-1. Yeah, he's had quite a career. He's facing Arias now and following Alex Colomé to the mound, who allowed 1 run in his inning on 3 hits, 1 strikeout. It's been Dallas Keuchel, who went 4. Aaron Bummer, Colomé, and now Cishek. There's another strike going 2. Abraham Almonte, who's gone all the way in left field, waits on deck. He's a leadoff guy. There's Steve.
If the percentages here in appearances since 2018, Cishek is third on the list.
Ball 1.
Hard to believe. Andrew Chaflin, 154. Here's Mario Petit, 154. Cishek, 150. Alex Claudio and Craig Stamen, the guy we saw earlier, with San Diego, 149.
Ball 2. 2-2.
Good acquisition, though. He's obviously a very good setup guy and has that sidearm delivery. It's tough to catch up to.
Here's a 2-2. Good breaking ball. Put him away. Nice pitch. 2 down for Almonte, who's 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and a run scored.
Cishek now 33 years old. Lives in Jupiter, Florida. Also great among active relievers of ERA. His ERA is 2.69, and Craig Kimbrell, now with the Cubs, 2.08, leads among active relievers.
One on Almonte.
Cishek, the kind of guy you want on your team, obviously, when you're heading for the playoffs. Veteran. Sox bullpen looking very, very good. I have a lot of depth.
Two and one. Could never have enough of that, can you?
No, and pitching it's the old cliche, but it's true. I mean, guys go down, and you got a guy in the, like Jose Ruiz, who's may not make the team, but a guy like that's very serviceable. You bring him up, he can give you some innings. It's been proven over the last few years. The White Sox were up. You know, Bummer went back and forth a couple of times. Jace Fry. Calvin Herrera's still around. He's got 1 year left on his deal.
Supposed to pitch today.
Yep.
There's a strike, 3-2. But you talk about a guy who's making a lot of appearances, and how valuable that can be to a team. And this is something you point out, Rich, could prove to be very big for the Sox as the season unfolds. To have a guy like this who can come in as often as he's proven he can do. Pitch fouled away 3-2. It's reminiscent of the guy who holds the record for the most appearances in a season, Mike Marshall. In 1973 with Montreal, he was in 92 games and claimed he was underworked. So the Dodgers said, okay. They put him in 106 games. That's the record. He won the Cy Young Award.
It's unbelievable.
3-2 to Almonte. That's ball 4. And he did it throwing the screwball, which takes a lot out
I
of your
remember
arm.
that, yeah. Well, Joe Madden, you know, he had Edwards used to pitch a lot. Carl Edwards Jr. for a few years. Madden went to him a lot. I know he used to keep the records on the Cubs, and managers have confidence in the guy, bring him out there. I don't believe the White Sox will use him as much, but you know, he'll be in there a lot.
Ivan Castillo gets his first at bat, finishing up at third for Greg Garcia. That's fouled away, strike 1. Garcia ended the day 1 for 3 with a single for San Diego, with a stolen base and a run scored. There's Luis. One strike to count. Beg your pardon, Ivan Castillo. The pitch, a strike. Throw down to second by McCann, and Almonte holding it first. Almonte bluffed, and McCann fired down there. Danny Mendick, by the way, the new shortstop, one of the changes this inning. And you can see Gavin Sheets at first, amused by the fact that McCann threw down. Sheets at first where Abreu was. Gavin ran for him and stays in there. Danny Mendick at short. Chesler, Cuthbert at third. That's when the catcher goes in the dugout. I wanted to make sure Danny was paying attention out there. Pitch up and in.
It was a good throw. He would have had him.
And the other change is Jacob Brugman's in left and Luis Gonzalez in right. With Cishek now pitching with 2 outs, 1 on, 7th inning, 2-0 San Diego. And now he goes, and there's no throw. So an uncontested steal by Almonte. 2-2. Got him. Backdoor breaking ball. Beautiful pitch by Cishek. Castillo not thrilled with the call, but that's it. 7th inning for San Diego. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. It's time to get up and stretch here at Camelback Ranch in Glendale. To the bottom of the 7th inning, San Diego 2 and the Sox nothing.
And welcome back to White Sox baseball. Rich King with you along with Russ Langer on a turned out to be a gorgeous day again here in Glendale, Arizona. White Sox trailing in this one, 2-0 to the Padres. Some good pitching by San Diego today, obviously. White Sox bats slow to get going, but still time here. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Sox known for their comeback so far here in the Cactus League. Let's see if they got one more in them today. Here again is Russ.
Thank you, Mert. My friend Rich King is with us. He's been with us the whole time, but Rich has been hustling. He's been talking to all kinds of guys. We're going to hear from Jim Thome tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. We talked to Jim about the 08. Great interview. Stay tuned for that one. And we'll feature the 2008 story tomorrow, which is the last time the White Sox were in the playoffs. I thought it'd be a good opportunity since all this playoff talk this year, and had a chance to cover that team. And Jerry Reinsdorf told me after the season, he said, I got everything I wanted out of that team. They gave me everything, 100%, and they wound up in the playoffs against Tampa. So we'll relive some of those great memories back in 2008.
Daurice Valdez, and the first thing he does is throw a 97-mile-an-hour fastball to the backstop. Hello. Ball
Nice
1.
start.
Clyde Barraclough won an inning, allowed no runs or hits, hit 1 man. Facing Luis Robert. There is Mr. Valdez, big guy. Luis has hit into a double play and flat out 0 for 2. James McCann on deck. Swing and a miss. That one's 96. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-0 San Diego. Bottom of the 7th. Valdez is the 5th pitcher today for San Diego. Big swing. That's fouled outside first. Ty France in pursuit, but he's out of real estate.
Boy,
Other changes. You got. Go ahead, Rich.
Go ahead. Valdez, you catch up on that, Russ. Valdez is 6'8", 221 pounds. Born in the Dominican Republic. Bani is the city. Man, that's a big guy.
He's listed at 6'8", 221.
Wow, that's something, isn't it? Amarillo last year, 2-0, 4.23.
24 years old from the Dominican. That's Double-A Texas League. A ball and 2 strikes on Luis Robert. That's high. 98. Other changes. Breivik Valera's at shortstop for San Diego. With Gabriel Arias out of the game. Ivan Castillo at third. Edward, there's some of the, they've got to look at the Padres alignment. Olivares moves from center to left, and Michael Geddes in the game in center. Third center field of the game for San Diego. And welcome to March. 2-2.
This guy's bringing it 97 miles an hour.
I believe that's Owen Miller at second base also. That's definitely not Quiros.
So James McCann will bat one more time. He's in the on-deck circle.
Checked his swing on what looked like a 90-mile-an-hour slider. 3-2. That's Mr. Owen Miller right there. 2 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Padres. Sox 0-3-0. Luis trying to stir the pot, but he swings and misses. Fastball away at 98. And Valdez, good old-fashioned country hardball right there. Just threw a pellet. McCann has grounded out and struck out, and facing his 3rd different pitcher in this, his 3rd at bat.
So Luis Robert going 0 for 3, double play and a strikeout and a fly ball to the left. James McCann, who had a great year last year, and of course when the Sox acquired Yasmani Grandal, you might think that McCann would be saying what's going on, but he's taking it very well. He told me it's part of the business. That's the way it goes. Happy to contribute, and he'll get a lot of playing time, obviously, with Grandal. 2 great catchers the White Sox have.
Oh yeah,
all-star catchers.
Terrific tandem.
Yep.
Ball 1.
You know, Russ, not many teams have that. You look around baseball, you see a good catcher, but a backup hitting 124.
Quite a luxury. New catcher right now for San Diego, by the way, Mejia Francisco, spelling Luis Torrens, who started and went 6. That ball's well hit. Geddes going way back, but appears to have a play, and he's got it at the edge of the track. McCann made nice contact with that deep drive, but he's out. 2 away in the Sox 7th. And now Luis Gonzalez gets his first at bat. Dan Palka batted 8th and played right for the first 6 innings. Fouled out and grounded out, and now Luis Gonzalez.
Luis been around for a while, one of the minor league depth people for the White Sox. Gives that organization a lot of depth. Good hitter. Saw him win a game here earlier. A walk-off.
Ball 1. 97 miles an hour on that one. He's been hitting a lot of line drives early in the spring.
He makes great contact. 247 last year at Birmingham.
That ball's well hit up the middle for a base hit. Gonzalez continues to hit the ball well. Geddes brings it back in. The Sox have just their 4th hit. But despite the fact they've been out hit 9-4, the tying run is coming up to the plate. There it is again. Nice smooth swing.
This guy's only 24 years old, Luis Gonzalez. He's not that old. He's been around for a few years, but he's still pretty young. From Hermosillo, Mexico. Lives in Mesa. Off to a good start here in camp again.
Garcia's been in there the whole way for the Sox, playing second base. Today he's grounded out and walked. Gonzalez at first, 2 down. Larry trying to keep the inning going for the top of the order. Coming up next is ball 1. Chesler Cuthbert, who is on deck. He's the new 3rd baseman when Moncada came out. Top of this inning. There he is. He would be next if Garcia is able to extend the inning. 1-0. Took something off. He took something off at 90. 1-1.
That's the way it is nowadays.
Well, good fading action on that pitch.
You know, Larry batting 9th today. Let off a lot last year. Moncada in the leadoff spot today, with Anderson batting 2nd.
Same pitch. 1-2.
You mentioned earlier, Russ, facing a guy late in the game, a kid who you don't know much about. That's what the White Sox are facing in this guy. He's got great velocity. Tough to catch up to.
Ball and 2 strikes. Gonzalez a modest lead off first. Here's the 1-2 now. Nope, off the rubber is Dauris Valdez. It's been Paddock, Stammen, Steven Wilson, Clyde Barraclough, and now Valdez for San Diego. The combined shutout here into the 7th inning so far. There goes the runner. And this one spins him around for ball 2. So the stolen base by Luis Gonzalez. And you talk about picking a good pitch to run on. There it is.
I thought it hit him for a while, but it got out of the way apparently. And the runner on second base in scoring position. Way low and inside that one. And a 2-2 count on Leary.
2-2. Got him 3 straight times. He came in that off-speed pitch at 90 fading away, and he got out of the inning. So the Sox are turned away in the 7th. No runs, 1 hit. No errors. They leave Luis Gonzalez at second base. On to the 8th. Padres 2, Sox nothing. Welcome back. There we go. We go now to the 8th inning. And the Sox are trailing San Diego 7-1. There's the veteran righty Kelvin Herrera replacing Steve Cishek, who worked the 7th inning, allowed no runs or hits, walked 1, struck out a pair. It's been Dallas Keuchel, Aaron Bummer, Colomé, Cishek, and now Herrera. Second appearance of the spring for Herrera, who got roughed up by the Giants a few days ago, Rich. So we'll see how he does as a bounce-back routine here.
Yeah, game we had here, Herrera in that game, 1 inning pitch, 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned against the Giants. So he's in here trying to right the ship here in appearance number 2.
This was the spot, as we see Herrera right there. He's been around a long time, a lot of success in the big leagues, Kansas City mostly. This was the slot, the DH slot, the number 3 spot in the order, which had been occupied by Brian Dozier, who went 2 for 3 today with 2 singles and drove in one of the 2 San Diego runs. But now Jason Vossler bats and takes ball 1, 1-0. So Dozier 2 for 3 ends the day there. There's big Jason, left-handed batter.
Kelvin Herrera from Tenadas, Dominican Republic.
That's fouled away, 1-1.
He is signed through this year. It's on a 2-year contract at $18 million. And 21, I think, is a vesting option year for him. Some injury issues last year. He told me he's working on his leg strength here in camp, trying to make sure he has the legs in shape for the season.
That was banged into center field, and it's a nice catch out there by Adam Engel, who just came into the game to finish up for Luis Robert, and that's quite a play. 1 down.
That's what Adam can give you. He's hitting better this year. In fact, he started hitting better late last year. Now here's the replay on it. Line shot right over the middle of the plate. Fat pitch to hit, and Adam coming in on the move makes the grab. There's no better than him out there. I'll tell you that right now. He's one of the best.
Now first at bat for Taylor Trammell, who's in right field. Franchi Cordero was in right, went 1 for 3. Now Trammell out there as Cordero has the rest of the day off.
Well, the one thing, Ricky, got to be happy about this game, the bats aren't there, but the defense certainly is. With Larry Garcia, nice play at second base, and now Adam topping that with a diving catch in center field.
That's in the air, and that should be caught also. Easier play for Engel this time. He puts that one away. Trammell's out. So Herrera comes in, gets 2 quick outs. Engel helped him out really that first time.
And Tim Anderson made a nice play at short, get a guy in the hole. And Abreu's played well at first base on a double play. So all in all, defensively, this has been a big plus today for the White Sox.
Francisco Mejia, the switch hitting catcher, gets his first at bat. Luis Torrens was in the catching slot and went 0 for 3 with 2 ground outs and a strikeout.
3-3 record for Herrera last year. Not a good ERA, 6.14. I mentioned the injuries, but he pitched in 57 games. A lot of work.
Foul that one back. 1-1.
As you mentioned, his years with Kansas City, 26 saves one year back in 17. Now 17 saves in 18, so he can do the job.
Mejia, roots in the Cleveland organization, takes low and in, 2-1. Edward Olivares would be next. 8th inning, a 2-0 lead for San Diego. But again, the White Sox have been nothing if not the comeback kids this spring.
Yeah, a couple of more shots here at this Padres staff.
Two and two.
Yeah, it's been the minor leaguers and the younger prospects who've fed those rallies late. Obviously, in the spring games, they're in the game late, so they're responsible for these comebacks.
There's Mejia. He is known for his arm. Great arm from behind the plate. He fouls that one off to the left out of play. 2-2. Francisco Mejia.
Although yesterday, the game in Diablo Stadium, it was the 4th inning early in the game when the White Sox were down 3-0. Rendon hit a 3-run homer, and then they came back with 8 runs in the 4th. 12 men to the plate.
We talk about explosive.
Yeah, they were.
Missed upstairs at 97, 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, Mercedes had a big double in that rally, and he's been one impressive bat here in camp.
He had one of the walk-off hits earlier.
Yeah, I don't know where he shapes up, but he's definitely a great hitter. I don't know defensive skills, but he's a catcher too, where the Sox are loaded.
Payoff pitch. Foul away.
Early in camp here, you look at the roster, and it appears there's one spot available to 26 men this year. And it's gonna, to me, it's going to be a veteran hitter. I mean, we talked about Delmonico earlier. He's a possibility. I don't know if Mercedes fits in their plans, but long way to go. If they could make a trade, anything can happen.
3-2 still. Fastball at 96. There's nothing wrong with Herrera's velocity, that's for sure.
No, he's healthy. He and Colomé are next to each other in the locker. Good friends. Very easy to talk to.
3,233 the paid attendance here today, and that one's on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Boy, Herrera got out the paintbrush at 97 and nicked that inside corner. That's quite a pitch. 1-2-3 inning. A little help from Adam Engel's acrobatics in center on the line drive hit by Jason Vossel. There's Adam trotting off. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still 2-0 San Diego. I'm Russ Langer, and we're in Glendale, Arizona. And if you ever look around and see that thing, you know you're in Glendale right there. That's where the Arizona Cardinals play their NFL games. Unique design on that thing, no question about it.
Arizona Cardinals, formerly the St. Louis Cardinals, and the once Chicago Cardinals. Formerly the Racine Cardinals. And Racine, Russ, because not after the town of Wisconsin, after the street in Chicago. The Racine Cardinals.
Now, where else can you come across information like that than the White Sox webcast, folks?
Yeah,
I ask you, where else?
The reason I know that is Racine, the street ran through my old neighborhood in Pilsen. I lived at 17th and Racine, so I looked that up. And Paul Jensen, who used to be the public relations guy for the Cardinals and now works in the booth here, runs the press box at Glendale, knows all about that. It's the Racine Cardinals in Chicago.
Not much that Paul doesn't know.
He's wired. A lot of jokes too. He knows a lot of good jokes. All clean.
He's also like the Morgan Freeman character in Shawshank Redemption. You need something, you go to Paul.
That's right.
That's it.
That's
Pitch
right.
low, Paul wanted Chesler Cuthbert. It's first at bat for Cuthbert, who is at third base where Yohan Moncada started. 1-0 for 2 and a walk. This is a leadoff slot for the Sox today against Jesse Schultens. Breaking ball missed, and it's 2-0. Schultens is 6'4", 230. There's Jesse. They'll be 26 in April out of Fairfield, California. 9th round pick by the Padres in the 2016 draft out of Wright State in Dayton, Ohio. The 2-0 to Cuthbert now. Check swing foul, 2-1. He also went to University of Arizona in Tucson. Last year, Double-A Amarillo. ERA right around 5. Mostly a starter. Strike. 2-2 on Cuthbert.
Mentioned Cuthbert made 3 errors here in camp. He's also had a home run. Good bat, veteran, former Royal.
Foul away. 2-2 still. Definitely got some sting in his bat. Up and down between Kansas City and their AAA team Omaha for a few years. Trying to get something going here. The Sox have only had 2 men pass first base in this game. Cuthbert batting now. Danny Mendick on deck, and then Gavin Sheets after that. In the 8, 2-0 San Diego. But again, despite the fact that they've been out hit 9-4, Sox are only down by 2 here. And Schulten's next one. Breaking ball. Third base. Right behind the bag is Ivan Castillo. Makes a nice throw over to first. 1 out.
Nice play, a long throw. He made it easily.
Who's your favorite player going up?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Jim Landis, I think, because I was a center fielder as a little leaguer, then on to American Legion ball. So I was a big White Sox fan. Jim Landis, that era, and I got a chance to interview Jim Landis in my broadcast career, which is exciting as can be. And Sherman Lawler and all those guys from the '50s, Lenny Fox. Those are great teams. They won the thing in '59, as Fox fans know, which for a 12-year-old kid as I was like the thrill of a lifetime.
Oh.
It was unbelievable.
That ball's hit to right center, but Taylor Trammell, the right fielder, moving to his right, makes the catch. 2 down. Now big Gavin Sheets with a chance to bat. The go-go White Sox.
Boy, baseball is one sport, you know, that people talk about the lure of the game and the excitement of it, but it's a traditional thing. My father took me to a game back in, I think, 1956 or 57, and it's a father-son deal. That's what it is.
An heirloom sport,
yeah.
to be sure.
And tradition. My father claims he saw Jimmy Fox hit one out of Comiskey Park, you know.
Wow.
I don't know how.
Jimmy Fox.
I don't know how real those stories were, but.
Ball 2, 2-0.
So he brought me to a game, and first game I saw was the Boston Red Sox with Ted Williams and Pearsall and Malzone.
Oh, my.
They're great teams.
The 2-0. Strike, 2-1.
You know what's interesting, Russ, is I'm sure the young people may or may not find this interesting, is back then, the games when I was growing up were in black and white on television. All right? So my first game, I went to the Comiskey Park, and all of a sudden, there's color. There's green grass. There's green seats. It was a totally mind-blowing experience walking into that ballpark and seeing it the way it was. And you kind of fell in love with it immediately because it's, in my eyes, the beauty of it all.
Nothing like it. Foul away. 3-2 on Gavin Sheets.
So you take nothing for granted. I mean, you walk into a Boss Hill and get a thrill. Bruce Miles, the writer in Chicago, and I have a thing about empty ballparks. We take pictures. I send him pictures here from Arizona. There's nothing more beautiful than an empty ballpark. Before the game, it's nice and quiet, you know. It's just it's very scenic to us.
No doubt.
But that's what it is. It's a tradition, and I mean, I had my great nephew here this week, 11 years old, and Tim Anderson's his favorite player. So the White Sox public relations staff nice enough to try to get Tim to sign an autograph for him. Well, Tim was sick that day with the flu, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Who came out? Abreu and Jimenez.
Oh, that's
signed his
that's
hat,
great.
signed his ball. He'll never forget it.
That's just
He'll
great.
never forget this day as long as he lives.
That's the thing about autographs.
Yeah.
The signature might get lost, but the interaction is what stays with you.
Exactly.
There's ball 4 to Sheets. And that'll extend things now. And we were talking about the bat of Yermin Mercedes, and here he comes for his first at bat of the day. Nicky DeMonico was the DH in this position, and the cleanup spot went 0 for 3 with a long flyout. And now here's Yermin Mercedes.
Well, I kind of like our chances here with tying run, right? This guy can flat out hit. He's a Dominican Republic native, lives in Orlando, Florida.
Nice breaking ball, strike one. The walk-off hit the other day. Padres have had 6 consecutive wins to run their record to 7-1. They lead 2-0 now in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs, but Mercedes trying to keep it going. And Jacob Brugman is out on deck. Another breaking ball, roll foul toward third. 0-2 on Yermin Mercedes.
He's a Rule 5 draft back in 2017, acquired by the White Sox. First pro contract, Washington Nationals. Signed as a free agent back in 2011. He's been the big bat here in camp as far as I'm concerned. It's a big, not surprise, but noticeable bat.
In the dirt, nice blocking save by Francisco Mejia. One and two.
Had a home run against the Dodgers in game number 2. Real blast to left, no doubt about it, up on that grass out there.
That's back up the middle. Takes a weird bounce, and it's grabbed there by the shortstop Breivik Valera, who makes a late throw. He never really had a chance to get Mercedes, so Mercedes gets an infield hit. He's the tying run at first. Now with 2 on and 1 out, here comes Brugman. There's it. Play again.
Nice job of hitting her up the middle. Tried to slip at the second for a while, then went out to first. No chance at all. Shouldn't even thrown the ball.
Owen Miller, the second baseman, wasn't at the bag. He was getting near the bag, but Valera couldn't flip it to him because he wasn't there. So now they're going to pull Jesse Schultens. The infield hit moves Sheets to second base. Mercedes at first. And that's it. Padres now 4 outs away from a win, but again, the Sox, you can never take anything for granted. The way they played this spring, coming from behind so many times. And the Padres have just given up the 5th hit to the Sox. 2-0 San Diego. 2 on, 2 out in the bottom of the 8th. There's the new San Diego pitcher on his way in. He'll be the 7th pitcher of the day for San Diego.
Well, Brugman has had a good go here himself in camp. Game against the Rangers out of surprise a few days ago. In the 8th inning, Sox were down. First 2 men got on. Torres got a single. Vaughn got a single. After Collins struck out, Brugman had a long shot, real blast. And surprise, they have a little pavilion out there in right field. That ball carried way up in the pavilion. I was sitting next to the guy who does the home run distances, and I thought about 450, 460. He said it was 436, according to what he saw on his computer. But that ball was really blasted for a 3-run shot and got the Sox back on top. They lost the game 7-6, but Brugman really unloaded on that pitch in that game. So Sox got some good prospects with some power as they try to fight back in this one. 2 on. First 2 men were out. Cutbirth was out on the roller and a fly to right field. Then boom, you got the walk and the base hit.
There's the new pitcher, the native of LaPorte, Indiana, Evan Miller. 24 years old, will be 25 in May. Went to Purdue. And he will inherit Gavin Sheets at second. Yermin Mercedes, the would-be tying runners at first. If they let Mercedes run. Not sure they will. Miller, 6'2", 200 pounds. Pitched for 3 teams last year. Class A Lake Elsinore in the California League, AA Amarillo, and El Paso AAA. 3-3 with a 3.47 ERA combined in 46 games if you add it all up. 69 strikeouts in 62 and 1/3 innings, only 48 hits. So Schulten's done after 2/3 of an inning. So far, no runs, with the 2 men on base belong to him. Sheets at second. And I believe it's a pinch runner at first. Don't have the name yet. Jacob Brugman is the batter. And the pitch from Evan Miller sinks in a little low, ball 1-1-0.
Brugman, 28 years old now, out of Mesa, lives in Mesa, Arizona. Born right here in Phoenix, the Valley of the Sun.
87 at first. Might be Ian Dawkins. 1-0. Brugman squibs one on the ground to Castillo at third. And that's the inning. So it takes Miller 2 pitches to come in and strand the runners. Sox are done in the 8th. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 left. Sox have left 8 so far. We go to the 9th, 2-0 San Diego. Hello there. Welcome to Glendale, Arizona, Camelback Ranch. I'm Russ Langer along with Rich King. Playing the song Wipeout.
Sums it up, right? Spring training.
That's it. Wipeout, indeed. Here's a guy with some wipeout pitches, Mr. Jimmy Cordero, indeed, chomping on the gum, loosening up right now.
This guy's a big guy, Russ. He's an impressive-looking human being. He's a weightlifter, and he's one of the big guys on the White Sox. He's listed as 6'4", 235, but his arms look like they can bend you in half. He's birthplace was San Cristobal, Dominican Republic, lives in Reading, Pennsylvania. And he's in here at age 28. And impressive last year for the White Sox. And Ken Williams is telling me that one guy he wouldn't want to face would be a guy like Cordero, who brings that blazing stuff inside on you. And he's in here trying to keep it 2-0 here in the 9th inning.
Edward Olivares, first plate appearance of the day. The new second baseman, by the way, is Andrew Romine. And the new catcher is Carlos Perez. So James McCann takes the rest of the day off. 2-0 Padres, and there's a strike, 0-1. Big Jimmy Cordero.
Want to know with the White Sox last year in 30 games, 2.75 ERA for Cordero.
Big time fastball. 1-1 to count. Triple digits. Slider and a curveball to go through it.
Had one game in Toronto last year, too.
Base hit to right for Edward Olivares. Luis Gonzalez will get it back in. And now Ty France, who was 0 for 1. He had a hit taken away from him. His only at bat against Alex Colomé in the 6th when he grounded one to the hole at short. And Tim Anderson made a great play to grab it and throw him out. And France, after that, took over at first for Seth Mejias-Breen. Foul away, strike 1.
Cordero's first pro contract, Blue Jays, back in 2012. Sox acquired him on waivers from Seattle in June of 2019. He signed through this year. Mentioned 30 games last year with the White Sox, career high. And he's got that blazer. He can bring it inside on you, so he figures in the plans this year. He's again in my rosters. He's one of the guys you figure is going to be in there. To me, there's one spot open on the roster among the relievers. We'll see how it all boils down, though.
Runner goes. Pitch inside. Throw to second. And stealing second base is Olivares. Perez throw down to Andrew Romine too late. So that pulls the plug in a double play. Ball and a strike on Ty France, and we'll see it again.
Yep. Good jump and good throw, though. Nice pivot and throw to second base, but just too late. No chance to get him.
Ty France last year at AAA El Paso hit .399 with good power, then got called up. The good news is he got called up. The bad news is he didn't get a chance to hit .400. Looked pretty close. Ball pulled foul. 1-2.
And as all baseball fans know, the last man to hit .400 was the splendid Splinter.
The one that you just mentioned.
Ted Williams.
You ever meet him?
No, I interviewed him, yes. I'm telling you, you look back at your career, the people you meet. He was in Chicago, I think obviously after he retired. And I was so nervous that whole morning. I could barely eat.
The 1-2. Branch drives it to right where Gonzalez is. Luis makes the catch. On his way to third is Olivares. The throw, he's in there.
Wow.
Throw was a strong throw, but off target. And Cuthbert had to go to his left to get it. So Olivares takes third, and nice throw by Gonzalez, slightly off target.
Great throw. There's on the replay. And he didn't slide. I thought he might slide. Ball coming in there. And for a while, you thought they're going to make that tag over there at third base. But Ted Williams, some guys you walk in the room, you know, they're impressive. This guy was John Wayne. I mean, that's John Wayne always. People said that John Wayne played Ted Williams.
That's been said about him so many times. There's a strike on one. The Sox pull the infield in, trying to choke off that run at third.
It was the interview was not. It was a very innocuous interview about a charity he was involved with, and they were doing a feature, so it wasn't about baseball per se, but he was very gracious.
The 0-1. Fouled away. 0-2. Met him once. Winter meetings in Hollywood, Florida, 1986. I was a kid who had just not that far removed from a college campus, and one of many of dozens of job seekers trying to break into baseball. Saw him in the lobby. Nobody else wanted to go near him. But I said, I got to meet him. So I walked up to him, and he was turning just to leave. He was talking with some friends and turning to leave. 2 strike pitches, ball 1. 1-2. And I said, Mr. Williams, it was clear he was in a hurry. And I said, I just want to shake your hand. And he shook my hand and he said, good.
That was it, huh?
That's it. And out he went. They say, though, if there was a Hall of Fame for fishing, he'd be in that, too.
He'd be there, exactly.
Here's the 1-2 to Owen Miller. And that's a nice pickup by Mendick to save a hit, but a run does score, and it's 3-0 San Diego in the 9th inning.
Another more good glove work by the White Sox, but a run scores. That ball almost got through, but Mendick got to his knees, makes the grab and gets the out at first base. But the Padres tack on the insurance. There it is on the replay. Little chopper almost got through, hits the dirt. Nice, reaching, diving stop, makes the play. Mendick can really show you that leather now and then.
First at bat for Breivik Valera. The shortstop position and the number 9 slot belonged to Gabe Arias, who was 1 for 3. And now Breivik Valera at short. This is his first at bat. Right to first. Sheets has it. Easy play. The inning is over, but they score a run on a hit. No errors. Nobody left on base. To the bottom of the 9th inning. Can the Sox stage another comeback? 3-0 San Diego.
Okay, White Sox baseball back with you. Rich King and Russ Langer here in Glendale. And it turned out to be a gorgeous day, a little cool, but all in all, no rain. In fact, there was forecast of 60% chance, went down to 15. And we're looking at blue sky here late in the afternoon here in Glendale, Arizona. The White Sox need 3 to tie. And here to call the rest of the day for you is Russ.
Well, thank you, Rich King. So 3-0 Padres as they look to go 8-1. They do have the best record of any team in spring training, and they're looking for their 7th straight win. Evan Miller got the last out of the 8th inning in relief of Jesse Schultens, but now they're going to try to get the last 3 outs, and Adam Engel will face him to begin. Then Carlos Perez and Luis Gonzalez. 3-0 San Diego.
10 hits for the Padres, 5 for the White Sox. This would be their first shutout of the year if they don't get on the board here in the 9th.
So much has been written and talked about Adam Engel's defense. He made a great play on the drive hit by Vossler off of Herrera in the 8th. But this is his first at bat of the day, and he takes a strike from Evan Miller, 0-1.
Adam Engel being more aggressive this spring. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he's still aware of his stance, obviously, but he's not worrying about it so much. He's trying to jump. He jumped on a lot of first pitches here in camp so far, and with success.
That's pull foul. 2 strikes to count. Well, we talked about Ted Williams and how you interviewed him, and I kind of met him.
Yeah.
But you mentioned during the break, Rich, that you talked to a certain ex-football player, one of the Hall of Famers from days gone by.
One of the great icons of the Roaring 20s, Red Grange, the Galloping Ghost of Illinois, on radio back then, and Brad Palmer, the sports director. Red Grange was coming up to Illinois to do a part of a reunion gathering, and he gave me his phone number. And he's
ball gets away. That's strike 3, but with the ball rolling to the dugout, Engel is aboard. Yes, please continue.
That's a break. Anyway, so I dialed. He lived in Florida. He was coming up the week of the event, and I got a hold of him. And he, real nice guy. And I said, Red. First question was, Red, you got to be looking forward to coming up and seeing your old friends in Illinois. You know, typical question. He says, quite frankly, I'm not. He says, I'd rather stay down here in Florida. He was in his 80s, I believe, and he says, I'd rather stay down here in Florida and relax. He says, I'm footballed up to my eyeballs.
All right, here's Carlos Perez.
That's the exact quote. And I told Palmer, he says, that's a tremendous interview. He says, Red Grange, the Galloping Ghost of Illinois, saying he's footballed up to his eyeballs.
That's amazing.
What a great icon he was. You know, it's amazing that era, the 1920s, Babe Ruth and him.
1-1.
You know what the sad part about it is? People, I don't know if people don't study history, but you mention these names and you get blank stares from some of these kids.
Yeah.
You know? These guys were great figures.
And back then, boxing was a lot bigger.
Jack Dempsey,
and
Joe Louis.
Right. Lewis came a little later. Here's the 1-1. Ball 2, throw to second base, and Engel gets around the tag. Well, Engel was fortunate to get on when the third strike got away, and right there, he just did get around the tag of Owen Miller. Here it is again.
I thought the throw might have beat him. He must have slid to the outside and just got in there. Nice slide. So, Sox have a runner in scoring position.
Don't have a word from the scorer yet on how they rule that, but he's at second with nobody out. 2-1 on Perez. 3-1, and the would-be tying run stands on deck, and Luis Gonzalez.
Well, if Engel was not going, which I don't think he was, it's got to be a wild pitch, right? If he's going, it's still
I would guess,
yeah,
but
yeah, we don't know.
He was not going
So
until the ball was loose.
So
but
it's a wild pitch. We'll score it here, Russ.
Yeah. 3-2. I rarely assume such things, but yes.
The scoring in spring training is not as sophisticated as it is during the regular season.
3-2.
Most of the scoring is done by the PR staff. All of it. Most of it, all of it.
And not an easy job.
No,
it's like being an umpire. You don't get noticed until somebody has a problem. 3-2 on Perez. Evan Miller. And Perez stays alive.
You know, I was honored in my career. Dave Nightingale, the great writer in Chicago, and they needed a guy to score a game. People were getting sick or whatever, and he offered me, was a broadcaster. We never offer a broadcaster a job like that. They offered me the official score position. The writers controlled it back then. I turned them down. I didn't want any part of it.
Right.
Any part of it.
Probably sleep better for not taking it. Here's the 3-2 now. Evan Miller with Engel at second. And Perez stays alive. Like a sinker coming in there at 92.
Well, nowadays the agents get involved, and you know, it's obviously money, ERAs or whatever, and it's not easy. And you can appeal it to Major League Baseball, which some of these guys do.
3-2. That's a nice at bat by Carlos Perez. Make no mistake. Now, runners at first and second, nobody out. There is action in the San Diego bullpen. And Luis Gonzalez is going to wait as Francisco Mejia goes out to try to offer a word or two to Evan Miller.
Okay, Russ, we sense You can feel it boiling, the comeback win for the White Sox. 2 on, nobody out.
There's the San Diego pen out in left field here in Glendale. Gonzalez began the game on the bench, replaced Palka in the 6th, got a base hit and a stolen base, so he's 1 for 1 and has had a good spring overall. Ran up to bunt, took ball 1.
Infield shifted over. It's not a complete shift, but the shortstop way towards second base, and the third baseman was back on pretty much on the infield. And good idea by Gonzalez. That would have been a hit. He got that ball down.
Inside, ball 2. Well, Evan Miller came in with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th.
And they're going to take a look at the pitcher here. And this Padres is midseason form, right?
Got the last out to finish the inning, but yeah, now they're
going for the win.
Right now, it's just a conversation.
There is activity, as Russ mentioned, in the
That's Larry
pens,
Rothschild.
Former Cub.
So just a conversation. No pitching change. And now it resumes, but Gonzalez in the driver's seat with a 2-0 count. 2 on and nobody out. 3-0 Padres. 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 9th. And what do you know? Another base hit for Gonzalez. Here comes Engel to score. To third base goes Perez, and the Sox are down 3-1. The tying runs are on, and nobody out.
Wow, another comeback effort here by the White Sox as they avoid the shutout for sure with the base hit by Gonzo to right field. Scores a run at first and third. Nobody out. We're still cooking here in the 9th for Andrew Romine. Sox down by just 2 now. That's their 6th hit.
Romine's first at bat right here. Lefty Daniel Camarena is throwing in the San Diego pen. We'll see. There's a series of righties coming up, but we'll see. Perez at third, Gonzalez at first. Romine dumps a bunt down. It's bobbled from momentarily, and he's safe at first base. Miller could not make the play. The momentary bobble cost him with the hustling Romine, and the bases are loaded with nobody out for Cheslor Cuthbert.
There on the pitcher, the bunt bobbled that little butt. That's what's in it. Bobbled the ball just a little bit and allowed Romine, who was hustling down the line, to beat it. And the Sox have the bases juiced. Nobody out, and a 2-run deficit. Time to make it come from behind win again.
And Andrew Romine will be pleased to know that that was scored a base hit. So bases loaded, nobody out. Perez at third.
All right.
Gonzalez, the tying run at second. Romine carries the potential game-winning groceries at first with nobody out. And here's Cuthbert, who grounded at third and is only at bat. Strike 1. Danny Mendick out on deck. Time after time this spring, the Sox have battled back. They're trying to do it again. They were down 3-0 when the inning began. They have a run in, 3 on, nobody out. A strike on Cuthbert. Chase that breaking ball, 0-2.
A little anxious there. Cheslor trying to get at least the tying runs in.
And the outfield is not deep at all, because on a base hit they want a chance to drive Gonzalez in, or to prevent Gonzalez from scoring. There they are. They're much more shallow than they normally would be. 0-2. 3 on, nobody out. Chase the breaking ball again. Big strikeout for Evan Miller. He gets Cuthbert, who's 0 for 2. And now Mendick, who fly to right in his only at bat in the 8th against Jesse Schulten's coming up.
It's a case of Cheslor trying to do too much. He swung at some bad pitches there with the bases loaded, trying to get an RBI or 2 RBIs. But the Sox have 2 outs to go, though. And here's Mendick, who can make contact. Had a good spring last year and figures to be in the mix this year in that infield.
Strike one. Throw to first, and getting back in safely is Romine. A snap throw by Francisco Mejia. He had a little mustard on that throw.
Yep, that was dangerous. You don't want to get picked off now, that's for sure. I'd like to take a few chances on the bases. We saw him in the surprise to do the same thing. They kept throwing over and barely getting back.
Sox trailing 3-1. Bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the ninth. Towards short. Valera steps on second. Throw to first on a bounce, dug out by Ty France. And on the double play, and a good play by Valera and a good play by France, if he doesn't dig that ball out, the game is tied because 2 runs would have scored. The Padres hang on and win by a score 3-1 today.
That ball got off to a good start, but the infield slowed it down just enough for the double play, and that's it. Sox make a bid. At least they avoid the shutout anyway, but they lose it 3-1. Trying to make an effort here in the ninth inning to come back and win this one. But overall, I got to give the Padres pitchers credit. Good job by pretty much everybody on that staff, and the White Sox held to 6 hits and lose this one, rushed by a score of 3-1.
Padres win it with 3 runs, 10 hits, no errors, leaving 6. Here's that last play again.
Yep, the ball it's had a good jump on it, but hit the mound and slowed down, and then nice play and the relay to first for the out, or the throw to first for the out. So do your best, but tough break on that ball.
Sox get a run on 6 hits, no errors, leaving 10. For the Padres, they have the best record of anybody in spring training. They are now 8-1 and have won 7 in a row. The Sox are now 5-4-1 with Oakland coming here tomorrow. And although he absorbed the loss today, Dallas Keuchel in his Sox debut threw the ball well in 4 innings, giving up a run, scattering 6 hits with no walks and a strikeout.
Yeah, he pitched very well. Bummer pitched well. Herrera had a good inning. So all in all, some good pitching by the White Sox. Great defense too, Russ. You mentioned during the game, Larry Garcia made a one-handed, barehanded grab on a little chopper for the out at first, and Engel made a great catch in center. Anderson played great shortstop, going in the hole, nailing a guy at first base. So all in all, some great defense as the White Sox lose this one. But tomorrow we'll see Ronaldo Lopez here as we have another webcast for you, and we'll also feature an interview with Jim Tomei, who talked about that 2008 team and the White Sox last playoff appearance.
Oakland starting pitcher, one of their top prospects, big, tall lefty, 6'8", A.J. Puck. Out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, throws upper 90s with a very tough slider. This should be a good challenge for the Sox hitters and a good ball game tomorrow that we expect that everything will be very good. Again, the weather forecast good for tomorrow. Yes. And Rich and I'll be back on with a webcast tomorrow.
We'll get some good dinner, relax, and get some good rest, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. For our entire production staff here at Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Russ Langer for Rich King, wishing you all a very fine afternoon and thanking you very sincerely for tuning in. Once again, the final score, San Diego 3 and the Sox 1. So long, everyone.